Anti-derivative Jill.
Greetings and felicitations. Greetings.
Can I offer you some tea?
Good tea. Nice house.
Would you make me some of that Plomeek soup?
I've got one that can see. Hey, hello. I'm Anti-Derivative Jill, and this is Plomeek Tea Time number 54. I have just so much fun talking to y'all today that I'm going to have so much fun talking to y'all because we're going to be talking about this horror sci-fi movie, They Live, and I'm just so excited about it. It's from 1988. So I first saw it a couple of years ago, but I really paid attention to it even more yesterday. I really think it's fantastic. And today we have helping me look at this, you guys in the chat, and also Scotty R37. How are you doing today?
Well, I'm here to kick ass and chew bubblegum, but I'm all out of bubblegum, so it's going to be a great day.
Mm-hmm.
Someone had to say it, and I might as well rip off the Band-Aid quickly.
You might as well get it over with right at the
why
start,
not?
right?
And I have the clip, but it's so long that I clipped the middle, a bit of the middle, so to make sure to see if it'll keep me from getting the copyright claim.
Oh.
And also today we have PvP.
Hi, Jill. Hi, Scotty.
And we'll see. I invited a few more people. We'll see if they'll show up too.
Well, we're here anyway, so.
Yeah, this movie is so incredible, and I really think it provides a fantastic insight on control and manipulation.
Oh, it's very interesting.
The media,
yeah.
And the government
homeless.
And corporations who all work together to convince us that we need to be divided so that we don't notice whatever they're up to, and instead fight with each other about whatever current political nonsense that means nothing, while they orchestrate the horrors of the rest of the world. So,
well, you know what I really liked about the film was, for a horror sci-fi, it was awfully grounded in the real world, like totally grounded in the real world, really. Whereas most sci-fi, goes off into whatever, semi-fantasy almost at times. This one stayed pretty grounded, even, as the film progressed and we got more into the horror sci-fi elements. But I really liked the real world stuff. I actually really liked the first third of the film when they were
really
just
liked the whole movie.
Well, I liked the whole movie, but I found the first third very interesting when it was introducing the characters and sort of building the relationships amongst them and the scenario and how they were the things they were facing in the real world before the the sci-fi horror started to creep in.
The dialogue is incredible, and it really puts you in the place of the working class people who
the working poor,
also happen to be without a home, but they are doing their best to work for themselves. And I want to say hello to the chat too before we get too deep into it. I want to say hello to Canadian Spider-Man, and thank you so much, Spidey, for becoming a member. Hey, look at that, a member.
Canadian Spider-Man is a menace.
He's the newest series superstar.
Ooh.
So there you go. And he says, holy crap on a paddle, chat. Anti-Derivative Jill has memberships now where you can join this channel for just $1 or $2. Yeah, I decided to keep the memberships fairly cheap. Oh, hey, I do want to show you guys how to get a free membership just in case somebody purchases a free membership. So I can't exactly show you because I'm a branded channel. So, but the way you do it is you go to join. Let me share.
All right.
So a branded channel, you say you're a branded channel, Jill. So a branded channel can offer memberships, but a branded channel can't actually buy a membership.
No,
Is
no,
that
no.
correct?
You can. No, that's incorrect. You can, as a branded channel, you can buy memberships, but you cannot get them for free as a gifted membership. But
Oh,
let's
but
say
I
you
can
don't
actually.
have. Okay, but come on.
So I could buy one then. Okay, that's good to know.
Okay, so yeah, you can still buy one,
Oh, I didn't realize that.
but the way that you can get it for free if you're not a branded channel is you go to join, and then you click these three dots at the top. And I don't have the option here, but you'll have the option for gift settings here, and you
Mm,
click on that, and from there you turn it on. So that's the thing I can find out last time.
nice.
It'll say allow gifts.
Yeah. Then you get special perks for membership, like custom emojis. Yes, so that's for the first tier. Also for all the tiers, whenever I have a special membership stream, everybody will be able to join that. And
That's funny.
I'm gonna have one membership stream a month. I haven't decided when, but I'm gonna work on that. Then for the second tier, I'm making a private Discord channel. So
Ooh,
and then for the third tier, I'm gonna make a special edited video, thank you video for whoever does the third tier. And it'll be themed around something that some kind of video that I've been meaning to make, but I just haven't made it in a while. And it'll be a good opportunity to thank you guys at the same time.
wow.
That's awesome. And I appreciate the effort that you put into the shows. Like ever since we've met and you've been good enough to have me on the shows, you put so much effort and research and time doing the slides and making sure that you're not leading people astray. And it just sounds like you're doing that much more when people are subscribing. And so it is worth it. If you are a fan of Jill and you want to hear her insights, I would say go for it. Give it a go because you're going to get the same quality, if not more, or just extra. Just extra.
Yeah, a little extra. It's nice. And guess who else decided to get a little extra? Is Jamalama. Thank you so much.
Hey, Jamalama.
Jamalama joined at the anti-derivative Avengers level. Awesome. And JT Kirk. Awesome. What? Also, JT Kirk also decided to join at the Plus C Nation Integrators level. So I've got to figure out a cool Captain Kirk video to do for him. I've got to work on that. Each video is going to have a different theme. I can't wait to start working on those. Because I've been meaning to do more edited content, and this will kind of force me to do it.
So it's mutually exclusive, mutually beneficial. Pardon me.
Yeah, that's the word. Canadian Spider-Man says I'll include that at the end of the stream. PvP if we can get Jill's favorite color out of her. I'm guessing Starfleet blue. You're right. It's blue.
That was easy.
Yeah. It's the blue that I'm using for my stream.
Actually, blue's my favorite color too, Jill. That's kind of cool.
But I also like purples. So
well, purple's my jam.
Purple. And Matt G's here. Hello, Matt G. Great to see you. Hey,
Matt G.
And
thanks for
also, oh yeah.
Thanks for swinging by the Fargo show last night. Appreciate that. That was great.
Oh yeah, Fargo's cool. Hello, Jim. Jim's Landscape LLC. He's probably mowing the lawn. DJ Play Nice is here. John Malama. I've got bubblegum if anyone's all out. Oh, well then we're gonna have to chew the bubblegum before we can kick ass. Hey, good morning. Bubba. Good morning, Sly Snide.
It's Cat.
Yeah, it's Cat. And Franco Walker, Ari Bavel. Hello, Ari.
Oh, hey, Ari.
Yay, I'm green, says Jamalama. And so is JT Kirk. It's not easy being green. This is Franco Walker.
You missed my red shirt joke, by the way, Jill.
I'm sure I missed a lot of things. The AI show says I have to come to drink coffee, discuss They Live, and kick ass, and I'm all out of coffee.
AI, we'll put on a pot for you. Dude, what was your red shirt joke, PvP?
I know, I was scrolling looking for it. I should have just asked.
I kind of forget exactly, but...
so you missed it. You missed it too.
No, it's just been like half an hour or something since I typed
Alright.
it. So I've been thinking about the movie more than that, silly comment I made. But
Hmm.
it was something along the lines of Jill's favorite color. And I think it was something like, I'm guessing Jill's favorite color is red because it's always a lot of fun seeing the red shirts die. So something along those lines.
I don't know. Sometimes those red shirts are really cute, and I don't like seeing them die.
Yeah, but it's
Like,
always fun seeing them die because we've seen them die so many times, right?
Mhm.
We know what's going to
Sometimes more.
happen. So
Sometimes more than once. The same one.
big
that's
shout
right.
out to Eddie Paskey.
I'm actually
Yeah.
amazed they've never written a book about, interviewed red shirt actors and asked them about what their experience was like actually working on the show, and especially the guys that died numerous times in various episodes under different names, different character names. But oh well, probably would be a small book anyway, I guess.
Jamalama says, I'm making coffee and throwing another log in the fire. And thank you so much. GJ Play Nice joined at the series Superstars level.
Lots of
Woohoo.
nice background photos there, Joe.
Well, and if you go back one, this
Yeah.
is for my research. I have the Shout Factory Blu-ray, which is
Nice.
the special edition. Big shout out to Fiscal Media. And so I got to listen to the audio commentary between John Carpenter and Roddy Piper. And the only thing that was very distracting, and I had to pause the movie a couple of times, is that you can hear John Carpenter chain smoking. So every time the lighter goes up, it's like, yeah, no, he's shooting a dart.
So he was one of those people that just had a cigarette in his hand constantly. Yeah.
So
Oh,
it was like
still is.
it
Still
was-
is.
it was like
Oh,
listening to you, but with a different voice.
More
bizarre.
talent and success. Yeah.
Well,
Yeah,
we
it's
got
crazy.
4 new members already. I don't know. I mean to play videos whenever I get new members, so I don't know. I still need to upload some videos to play, but I'll just
Well,
play a few of these.
I shall be merciful and quick.
So
Those poor people.
this photo here, I'm just wondering, like, I'm guessing. I mean, I didn't do any research on the skull faces, but I'm guessing the alien faces were actually some kind of mask of some sort. I mean, it's not makeup, obviously, so it's got to be like a physical mask, right?
yeah, it's a
Yeah.
prosthetic.
Yeah, exactly.
And a lot of the ghouls, as they are referred to, were played by Jeff Amata. I think he was the stunt coordinator.
He was the head ghoul.
He was the one who was primarily
Well,
an alien. Yeah.
Cool.
Yeah, because John Carpenter didn't like the guy who was standing in for the male aliens, so he asked him. He's like, "You're about that size, so why don't you do it?"
Well, and apparently he played the women as well, the lady aliens.
Really?
Mm-hmm.
Wow, that's kind of shocking.
Well, it's also it kind of harkens back, and we've discussed this with Star Trek, but there is something that is off-putting with the body language of, or at least in special effects in film. I'm not referring to day to day. Please don't at me. But having a man sort of walk around and try and emulate the movements of a lady. At least that's what the intention was in the creation of this particular film. Please don't punch me in the face because it's 2023.
Well, I doubt there's very many men that could actually mimic a woman's body movements very well, actually. 'Cause
Well,
we're just,
it
we're
is.
just we're just built different.
Well,
for
in
it, right?
this movie, though, most of the time the aliens are just standing around, looking creepy and menacing. And the AI show says, "You mean there's no book about extras on Star Trek?" No, there's these are the voyages. There's tons of books about Star Trek, but you have to dig into the books to find the red shirts. And I don't know if there's like a whole book just about red shirts.
That would
But
be kind of a fun book. though.
all of the information is out there, more or less.
So somebody could just accumulate the information and condense it down into a little
Why don't you get to
essay
it?
or something. I should.
Keith David has 372 IMDb credits. That's insane. It
Is
is.
he?
It is insane. And one of the things that I learned is that at the time of the recording of the audio commentary, which I think was about 2002, 2001, it was just recently. It was shortly after September 11th because they make mention of it in the audio commentary. But Roddy Piper says at the time of the recording of the audio commentary, he had done 7,000 professional wrestling bouts. And the only person who came close to him in terms of holding the record at that time was Ric Flair. And he had 5,000. And so it is, Keith David, absolutely brilliant. Nothing but praise for the man. And John Carpenter echoes the same. But Roddy Piper, prolific wrestler.
I actually have
Yeah,
some
he is a
background.
wrestler. That is pretty cool. And he incorporates his wrestling into this movie. When you know he's a wrestler, it kind of makes watching this movie even more fun.
I actually have some background
And
on
before we get to the
Rowdy.
background, I need to say hello to Princess Fiona. Hello, Princess Fiona.
Oh, hi, Princess Fiona.
Right. Tell me what you got.
Hello.
Princess
Fiona.
Fiona's always got good comments. I enjoy her comments.
John Malama says, I don't have my reading glasses on, so I have no idea what their emojis are. I might change them later, but right now my emojis are Enterprise is the first one that you just put there. The second one is a Mandelbrot set. Picture of Mandelbrot, like, because I love fractals, and I wanted one of my emojis to be mathematic in nature.
That makes sense.
And then there's a tribble. So
Ooh.
and then the last one is a Twilight Zone swirly thing. You know, the interdimensional travel.
I hear a treble in the background there somewhere for a minute.
Mm-hmm.
Well, in
Hello.
Jamalama, if you want to put your glasses on, all of the emojis say obey,
Yeah,
marry, and reproduce.
Don't put your sunglasses on. You might frighten yourself.
Consume. So PvP, you said you had something you wanted to share. Oh,
Yeah.
While you share that, I'm gonna look for Matt G's Dream Elements chat.
Okay, I just got some background on Roddy Piper, the rowdy one. I did not ever know this, but he was actually Canadian.
I know, Saskatoon, right?
Yeah, born in Saskatoon, Saskatchewan, and I think let's see. I'm just going to read some of this. Professional wrestling, Piper was best known to international audiences for his work with the World Wrestling Federation, World Championship Wrestling between 1984 and 2000. Although he was Canadian, Piper was billed as coming from Glasgow. I love this. And was known for his signature kilt and bagpipe entrance music. This was because of his Scottish heritage. Piper earned the nicknames Rowdy and Hot Rod by displaying his trademark Scottish short temper. I love this. Spontaneity and quick wit. According to the Daily Telegraph, he's considered by many to be the greatest villain wrestler ever. I think this is pretty funny stuff. And
Wait
it goes
a minute.
on and on, of course.
So what's his first name?
Roderick.
It's
Roderick.
Roderick. His full name was
gotcha.
Roderick George Toombs, was his real name.
Thank you.
And he mentions in terms of his childhood, and this is something that I was actually taken by, is that Roddy Piper talks about how he took a lot from his own personal experience in being sort of a drifter or a man without a home throughout the world. Like, he is a citizen of the earth, because he does say he was born in Saskatoon, Saskatchewan, Canada, and he says he lived in Glasgow, and he lived in Australia, and he traveled around, and so he was a man of the earth.
The thing is, too, his early life here, talks about where he was born. Then it mentions he was raised in Winnipeg, Manitoba, attended Windsor Park Collegiate. His father was an officer on the Canadian National Railway Police Force, apparently, and while he was expelled from junior high for having a switchblade in school and falling out with his father. Toombs left home and stayed in youth hostels. Several professional wrestlers hired him to run errands, as he picked up odd jobs at nearby gyms. So it's definitely kind of a homeless thing almost, right?
Yeah,
As a
well, it
young
seems
man,
like he did have a very similar life in
well,
terms
yeah,
of
that's why I think he played the character so well
having to
because he knew the
running
character
away from home
inside
and
out.
everything.
I just want to add one quick thing, Jill. It says, as a young man, he became proficient in playing the bagpipes, though he repeatedly stated he was unsure exactly where he picked them up. And I think I love that because when you consider his real name is Roderick George Toombs, and then he just basically shortened his first name to Roddy, and then added, the fictional name of Piper. It's like it's totally obvious to me at least that he took Piper from playing the bagpipes, right? Because they're the pipes, aren't they? So it's like Roddy Piper makes
Oh, that
total
makes sense.
sense.
And also, is it really him playing the harmonica in the movie? It probably is.
That's what I
So
was wondering, but
I
I
think
couldn't
I
find
think it makes
anything.
sense that he can play the harmonica and the bagpipes at the same time because those go hand in hand.
He
And I want to
does
say
say
hello, welcome.
he does, and I do want to welcome Kat myself, but he does say that he plays the harmonica horribly in the movie. So yes, it was his harmonica playing.
I
Thank
like
you.
this. I like the harmonica
And
actually. I thought it
thank you
sounded
so
good.
much for listening to the commentary. I did not have time to do that. You're amazing. And yes, hello and welcome to Catherine.
Thank you.
Hi,
How are you
Kat.
doing today?
All right.
Great. I want to say also hello to Ari Bavel. He says, "What's up, Plus C Nation?" And
Nice to see
see
you,
what I
Ari.
forgot here. Oh, James Caserta is here. Hello, James Caserta. Saying hello to Princess. The emoji is Enterprise. No bloody A, B, C, or D.
The way it should be.
Right. As someone who lived in Los Angeles, says the AI show twice. I find it interesting They Live chooses downtown LA for location screenings. Oh, let me play this. There, it's going. 1988 says FKHC. I would have been living on Guam at the time. Oh, in Guam. Wow.
Wow.
Sorry if I
James
sound a little
Caserta?
different. I decided to go outside instead of pausing myself.
Pop culture isn't here.
Can you hear me?
If he is,
Yeah,
we can hear you.
Great.
But can you
Pop's
hear
not
us?
here.
Oh yeah.
Hopefully he does show up. But if he doesn't, that's all right.
Oh. I
We've
just
got
want
lots
to.
of cool people.
If you could stop at this still, Jill.
No.
No,
What?
please go back. Because this is it's the executive producer one.
Well, before I move on, though, I did want to say you guys were talking about the looks of the aliens. Sandy King, the associate producer for this movie, and now John Carpenter's wife, was the one who was responsible for the looks of the alien. She designed the metallic.
Great.
And I like her design.
I really like the design of the alien skull faces. I thought they were excellent.
Which one did you want to stop on?
The one with the executive producers, because I have a little bit of background on one of them as well, which I found quite fascinating because I recognized the name, which normally, as far as executive
Oh, shoot. What
producers,
the heck's happening?
uh-oh, your video player's rebelling.
Apparently.
It's an
It
alien
just wants to
video
know-
player. Oh no, there it is.
Wants to know about Buck Flower.
This is the one, Shep Gordon. You guys might not know who this person is, but I recognize the name instantly, and I have a little bit of his Wikipedia page here. Just quickly.
Wait. Before you do, I have a Stream Elements message from Matt G, and I didn't make sure to read it. He sent it 12 minutes ago. He says no one's sure what a branded account is. Lol. I've gifted memberships to monetized YouTubers. I've gifted Mandy Summers free memberships in Mary Mayhem's chat often. It's so confusing. Thank you, Matt G. Thank you for the $1 Stream Elements tip. All right, so now let's listen to PvP talk about, what is it, Shep Gordon or Android Joy?
Shep Gordon.
Shep Gordon. This is fascinating. I never realized, but I recognized the name instantly because I remember him as a rock and roll fan in the early 70s when I was first getting into music. I'll just read a little bit of this. He says, after being introduced to the band Alice Cooper by drummer Neil Smith's sister Cindy Smith, he and his partner Joe Greenberg began to manage the group in 1968 And that was what triggered my memory. As soon as I saw the name, I thought Alice Cooper Band in the early 70s, because they were one of my favorite bands back then, because I just loved early Alice Cooper.
Wait, what does
And
Shep Gordon do with Alice Cooper?
he managed the group, and he still
Oh,
actually
he is a
manages.
manager.
He still manages Alice Cooper to this very day, since 1968, and he manages him with no contract. That's how good their relationship is. There's nothing
Oh, that's a
formal.
lot of trust. That's really
Yeah,
cool.
a lot of trust since 1968. Like, that's a lot of decades working with each other, right?
Well, and it is interesting in terms of how many sort of musicians or people involved with rock bands and whatnot do financially support movies that they just want to see. Famously, George Harrison was an executive producer on Monty Python and the Holy
Monty
Grail.
Python. Yeah, exactly.
Was it the Holy
I just,
Grail or was it Life of Brian? One of the two.
it could have been
And
both, actually, because I know that George Harrison was a huge Python fan, so I wouldn't be
but that
surprised.
that bleed over, that bleed over of people who just want the entertainment and have a
Mhm.
passion for the show that is about to go on, and I really admire that. Thanks for bringing that up, PvP.
Yeah, well, I just want to quickly mention the list of names here. He went on to represent artists like Anne Murray, Blondie, Luther Vandross, Teddy Pendergrass, Burton Cummings. The list goes on and on. George Clinton, Gypsy Kings. I mean, it's just nuts. Like,
Yeah, you do have quite a list of
oh,
those.
Kenny Loggins. I mean, there's like 25 different musical acts here that he was representing and managing
Well,
at some point in time, right?
and that's crazy cool because you bring up Anne Murray and Burton Cummings, again, big Canadian
Yes.
acts, and
Yes.
we have we got Roderick, who is also a big Canadian act, world
And
champion.
Exactly.
Also champions in the chat are Suzanne Eckstein and hello to Cam Cam. Hey Cam Cam. And Jamalama says, thank you very much, Princess Fiona. I am very into correctly pronouncing words. Oh, did I mispronounce something? Let me see. What did I do? I'm in trouble.
No.
I don't know. Oh,
Did you
it's
say
pronounced
did you say
Fresnel.
aluminium? Sorry,
No.
which?
Aluminium is correct if you're in England.
What
Yeah.
did you
grew
say
up
though?
Watching, I say aluminum. I grew up
Okay.
watching Piper wrestle, says Matt G. Wow. The mighty Jill Empire. Yeah, I didn't really know him as a wrestler.
Oh
So
man, when I was a
that's
kid, there was a
amazing.
cartoon called the WWF Rockin' Wrestlers, and it was all about Hulk Hogan and Andre the Giant. They did cartoon animated adventures, and I only really enjoyed the episodes that had Roddy Piper. He was my favorite wrestler when I was a kid. Roddy Piper and Junkyard Dog, my two favorite wrestlers.
Well,
There
you
you
said
go.
that he was a great villain, right?
He was a heel, and that's the thing, is that like when you
But he
hear
was
the
fun.
term, oh, for sure. And also,
That's why I
like,
loved
even
him.
if you were, and that's why I don't like the term villain when it comes to wrestling. I like the term heel because he's not, he's doing it because he believes he's the best. Oh, it's so good. And so it's a heel turn. It's not that you're the villain. It's not that you're the bad guy. You're just, because, hey, there were people who loved Roddy Piper. There are people in the modern era who love their bad guy wrestlers, but they're not bad guys. They're heels.
Yeah, well, bad guys can be good, right? So, if that makes any sense, in the sense that they can be fun. And, yeah, I get what you're saying there, Scotty. My earliest memories of Roddy Piper go back to the late 80s when I was at fine arts school working on my bachelor's degree. And I never got into wrestling before that, but one of my best friends back in the day was a huge wrestling fan. Like, he had to watch wrestling every weekend, right? He'd throw WWF on, like at 11:30 or whenever the hell it was the show came on. And, being at college, my brain would sometimes be so packed and, sore from trying to, stuff information and learn all week. By Friday night, I was just like ready to, party and relax. So I'd drive out to my friend's place, a couple of times a month. And, we'd have a barbecue and, get some beers or whatever. And we'd throw the wrestling on. And, of course, that's when I got introduced to people like Roddy Piper, right? And I actually really got into it after a while. for a few years there, like late 80s wrestling was pretty fantastic, actually. It was a lot of fun because you had all those great characters like Hulk Hogan and Ravishing Rick Rude and, all these crazy characters, right? So, yeah, it was great fun to, get introduced to an awesome dude like Rowdy Roddy. It was great.
Speaking of, yeah, well, he is an awesome dude. He's an awesome dude in this movie.
Oh, he's so good.
This movie,
Yeah.
I just love it because it addresses the, whatever psychological effects that come from the media influence with, everything concerning consumerism, subliminal messaging, and this movie made me realize that having a mullet and being cool aren't mutually exclusive.
Yes.
No, I've had
hey,
a
Kat.
mullet many times. I've had my mullet years, especially back in the 70s. I think everybody had a bloody mullet back then, though. Even the girls, I think, probably had. Okay, I'm getting silly. Sorry.
Hey, Kat, did you have something you wanted to add?
Yeah, I remember Roddy Piper was also really great when he played like a very fictionalized version of himself on It's Always Sunny in Philadelphia, where he's like the deranged former wrestler called the Maniac who shows up in a few episodes, and it was hysterical.
Oh,
he was
that
really
means that I've seen him. I love Sunny, but I didn't realize he was in it.
Yeah, he was in a couple, like 2 or 3 episodes. In the first one, they're trying to put on a wrestling show for the troops to raise money for the bar, and they find him living in a car in an alley, and they try and recruit him to come and play for them, and he's completely out of his mind. And then in a different episode, they try and rope him into a pyramid scheme, and at the end, when everybody else loses, he's the one who's on top of the pyramid and makes all the money. Because
nice.
Nobody could figure out how he managed to do it, but because he's Maniac, he figured it out.
I need to go watch those episodes now that I know him more.
I've never seen that show. I really have to check at least those episodes.
Oh yeah, it's like a modern day kind of Seinfeld, except they're even bigger assholes.
Oh yeah, it's like Seinfeld on crack and Seinfeld with consequences. It's great.
Oh my god, that sounds good. Yeah, I knew it was a crazy comedy, but I don't know a lot about it. But yeah, I need to check that show out. Definitely.
Yeah.
And I wanted to say the idea for They Live came from a short story called 8 o'clock in the Morning by Ray Nelson, published in the Magazine of Fantasy and Science Fiction. And so Carpenter got the rights to the film rights to the comic book and the short story. And that's why we have this movie. And I also wanted to play this clip from the scene that we have here.
They have taken the hearts and minds of our leaders. They have recruited the rich and the powerful.
Yeah, so this is the part where we see the street preacher, played by Raymond St. Jacques. If I mispronounce French things, that's because I can't speak French.
That's okay. But it is nothing but high praise, and he does get the "and" sort of credit in the film, which is fantastic. But there's a part in the movie coming up in about, I don't know, a couple slides, and it talks about how Roddy had the dog scared out of him, and it's something that comes up a lot in the audio commentary in terms of talking about, oh, he beat the dog out of me. He scared the dog out of me. And so
it's just that, what are you talking about?
I don't know. It's just his vernacular. Like when you're talking about a wrestler, I'm not going to question him, but he seems very earnest. And that's something that I really want to, I don't want this to turn into a wrestling stream, but I do want to praise Roddy Piper in this. Like, this is something that you could have had Kurt Russell in, but like to continue that long running partnership.
He does like to fight.
Well,
but also part of the reason that John Carpenter chose Roddy Piper, they met at like WrestleMania 3, I think, and it was the physicality that Roddy brought to it, the charisma that Roddy brought to it, and I just think that he brings sort of an everyman quality, and he's very subdued if you compare it to his athleticism or his athletic performances, if you want to say sports entertainment. Also, just so the World Wildlife Federation doesn't break down our doors, I do want to say that back in our day, it was called the World Wrestling Federation and not the World Wrestling Entertainment. There was obviously a battle against pandas,
Yeah.
And we all know how I feel about pandas.
The
'cause I
pandas
don't
won
like
in
them.
this case.
The pandas
In
won
this
the
case,
battle.
yeah.
I just wanted to add to
Sorry,
what Scotty
Scott.
said about his performance in the movie. I just think he's. I actually cannot not imagine Kurt Russell in this film. I don't think it would have been as good. There's something about Piper's naturalistic acting style. His performance just comes across as so real, so genuine. It's like he's not even acting, right? I actually got into the first part of the movie when they were introducing his character to such a level because I was so thoroughly impressed with his just naturalistic quality of his acting, playing this character. I was just totally sold, like within like 5 minutes, totally believing in this guy, as a character. And I just loved his performance all the way through this film. I thought it was fantastic. And he just had kind of a naturalistic, laid back kind of charm in some parts, but he was great in the action scenes, probably due to his physical, qualities as a wrestler. So
Definitely.
I thought it was
Definitely do
pretty
that.
much a perfect. You know what? I actually, when I was watching this, I actually watched the film twice because I enjoyed it so much. And when I was watching him, do some of his great scenes and dialogue, I was thinking, damn, I've seen Academy Award-winning performances that weren't as good as this, right?
Well, I think the
To be
reason is
honest.
because he brings that experience from his real life, and that's why he was cast in this movie by Carpenter.
Yeah,
And
Carpenter made a
who
good
says,
choice.
unlike most Hollywood actors, Roddy has life written all over him. And I love a lot of dialogue in this chat. This entire preacher sequence is really good because at first you just don't really take him seriously because he's a street preacher. But he's the warning that most people don't really pay as much attention to. They'll watch him as a sideshow, but they don't realize that what he's saying has truth to it. And
Yeah, that's
Well, and
true.
that's something that's something that I really enjoy about this movie. And like it's a tight 90 minutes, like I think 94 minutes.
94
And
around, yeah.
and it goes at a good clip, but also it doesn't sacrifice the character development or opening up the world, like with this street preacher, this sage, who John Carpenter likened to sort of the opening act of, I think, Macbeth with the three witches, the trouble, boil, and bubble. Just in terms of opening up the world.
boil in trouble.
That's cool.
Precisely. And that's the thing, is that as Nada, and that is the name of the character. I don't even think that they
don't
say
Nada.
But the name of the character means
Nada.
nothing.
Nada in Spanish is nothing, and it kind of reminds me of Odo being called the unknown sample.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't
And
think
so
they never mention his
Sorry.
name in the film, do they, guys? Like, I don't remember hearing his name during the movie.
Even in the end
No.
credits, his name is Nada.
No,
Yeah.
but in the comic book, it's George Nada.
Is it George? Because they say in the audio commentary that his name is John.
I just like how the screen credit is just Nada at the end of the film, and it's like Jill said, it means like nothing, right? It's like he's like nothing in a way because his life he's so far on the bottom. I can understand that name perfectly fitting the character.
Wanted to
A
make
man
sure
alone.
I wanted to make sure to read this because this is John Carpenter's. This is how he wrote the movie. Even if I interpret it differently, this is how he intends it to be read. The AI show says They Live was actually a socio-economic political critique of the Ronald Reagan years, hidden as a sci-fi action film. Yes,
That's a very good
that
summary.
That is exactly what he was doing. Yes.
Well, and
Yeah,
it is a
agree.
commentary on
I agree.
Reagan era, rich versus poor, and sort of trickle down economics and Reaganomics. Yeah, it is a reflection of its time.
But I think
Down, right?
even though I love this movie and it's perfect and John Carpenter is the genius, but I think that it's missing. I think his idea of it is missing the corporatism of it, which is heavily influenced by the government. And so I think he likes the government a little bit too much, but
Really?
I do
You took
just a little bit.
away. Well, and that because the commentary of the film, and I don't mean just watching the audio commentary.
I could be wrong. I hope I'm wrong.
But it was sort of an observation of how there are two different worlds in America. There are different socioeconomic situations that people who live in the suburbs don't know what's happening in tent cities and homeless camps around the country, and in this case, obviously, the United States. But it is something like to the point where they were filming in Los Angeles, and whenever they needed a large group of extras, he would just go and say, all right, well, he would go and get a bunch of
to the tent
people.
cities, because they had them even in the 80s, even though they're way more prevalent now. You just walk into any street and they're everywhere.
Actually,
I don't know if it's more prevalent now or if it's just more reported upon now.
No,
like
they're way more tense.
I wanted to ask.
Okay,
about
you're the
that.
doc.
I really was curious about the tent cities in the film because back in the late 80s, we didn't have anything like that in my part of Canada. Like nothing. Like we didn't.
Well, I didn't even see them. I didn't even see them when I went on my honeymoon. But after more recently, they're everywhere.
Yeah, they're everywhere now.
Yeah, I found it shocking though, like for 1988, that it was as bad as it looks in the film. Like, I don't remember ever anybody even talking about homeless people back in the 80s. Like, it's just like there weren't homeless people. Maybe there probably were, but it wasn't a big thing back then, right? And I don't even remember seeing panhandlers until like 1989, 1990, when I finished my college studies. And I saw the first panhandler outside of a convenience store with, their hat on the sidewalk kind of deal, right? And I was like, wow, I've never seen that before. So I don't know. I guess maybe my part of Canada was,
sheltered,
was a lot different. Well, it just wasn't a thing. But now, of course, like Jill said, it's everywhere now, right? So
well, and John Carpenter said that this particular tent city that is depicted in the film still stands.
Really? That's
at least at the time of the recording.
I can believe that.
Like it was
just the one that got bulldozed, or this one right here. Okay. Wow.
Yeah, it's sad.
And Matt G gifted sent one gifted membership. If anybody has their gifted membership turned on from the join button from the on my channel page, you will be able to pick up that gifted membership. So make sure you have that turned on. Just go to my channel, click on join and the 3 dots, and you'll be able to turn that on to get a free membership from Matt G. If you
very
don't
generous.
Yeah. McPhoenix says nerds. And also while we're distracted, I did want to say that Franco Walker also wants to say, go pandas. And JT Kirk says, tent cities have grown several fold since the 1980s and in many more places. Washington, D.C. has a much larger population than even 15 years ago.
Yeah, it's pretty sad, really.
They live is a perfect realization of America. Go to any major city, Austin, Seattle, LA, New York City, and you will find these shanty towns just as in the movie. And the AI show says it's like a documentary disguised as science fiction. Oh, well, that makes me think of somebody when we say a movie is a documentary.
It's got a lot of reality in it, as I mentioned earlier in the stream. Yeah. Which is why I like the film so damn much, because it's grounded in the real world, which makes it really, really great. Oh, I love this.
Princess says you only have to turn on receive gifts once per account and not on each channel. Oh, good to know.
Oh, I love this scene with the like the third-rate actress on the TV, and he's watching it through the window there,
I
and
like it too.
the look of disgust on his face when he listens to what she's saying is just priceless.
All I ever have to do is be famous. People watch me, and they love me.
Yeah, and then he has that expression of utter disgust, which any person that can convey an emotion just with a simple facial expression, that's always impressed me. Those are my favorite kind of actors that can do that.
Oh, and Princess Fiona says you have to understand something. 2015. It's a documentary, not science fiction, John said in a 2015 interview. So that was Carpenter's own words. Oh, thank you,
Cool.
Princess Fiona.
Cool.
John Malama says there's a recent public document from the Defense Department where they talk about using deepfakes as propaganda. Truth Stream's latest video. So yes, we are living these movies, these science fiction movies from the 80s and 90s. They lived.
Deepfakes haven't gotten that good yet.
And Idiocracy. Yeah, you just have to look at the hands.
And even the face, it's just 2 seconds, barely a second, you can see it's fake. Especially the second the mouth starts moving, even the tiny bit, it's like, no.
I've seen, like recently on YouTube, I've seen some talking head pundits, and they have the filters, like the same way that you would have an Instagram filter or whatever. And I've seen it. They are live action, like smoothing out the skin, getting rid of blemishes and pockmarks, and even like moles. Like, and which is the thing that threw me off. There's a young lady that I watch, and she has just a beauty mark on her face, and it's gone if she moves her face in a different direction. So we are getting to a point where that sort of digital masking is available.
Well, you know what's scary too is we might notice these things, but a lot of people won't pick on it, and they just believe it instantly, right?
Yeah,
I mean, there are a lot of people that are pretty gullible, and they'll just believe anything put in front of them, you know?
Right, because a lot of people will just read the headline and they won't actually read the article and just go by that.
Good point.
It's the same idea.
Yeah, we're living in what I call the post-clickbait culture. Because the reason something's called clickbait is because you read an outrageous headline, you click on it to follow the link, and then you realize when you read it, oh, it's not really what it says it is. But now people just read the headline and just believe it, and they don't even check the source or even stop to think, does that even make sense? They just blindly believe whatever they read.
You know what's even worse, Kat, is a few days ago on YouTube, I noticed, something pop up on the video page that said, we're very sad to announce the passing of Brian May of Queen, right? So I instantly went over to, on the internet and checked out, his website, and he's of course totally fine, still alive. And I will never click on one of those kind of fake, YouTube channels that post garbage like that about some celebrity passing when they're perfectly, still fine, healthy and alive. That kind of stuff just makes me sick when I see it. So yeah, clickbait can be very nasty stuff.
Yeah, and so of course he gets a job in construction through and meets a coworker. So he meets Frank. Frank is really great in this movie, and also Gilbert. Gilbert is not really great in this movie. No, he's really great. No, the actor is great, but of course, you know what happens.
But he's the leader of this particular cell of the resistance. He's not a bad guy.
No, Gilbert's not a. Yeah, I guess he's not a bad guy. Well, he's a representation of the way some people would handle this kind of situation. A defeatist mentality.
Oh, okay.
I like the two of them together here. Like they form such a good.
You saw the movie, right?
Yes, I saw the movie. Thank you for asking.
Okay.
They form such a good friendship, but it's very complicated too. It's not just buddy. It's kind of more, a lot more complicated as the film goes on.
Definitely.
which is something that's cemented through their performance through the greatest fight scene in cinema history.
Oh, we'll get
Oh yeah.
there.
Oh
Scotty,
yeah.
did you prepare for us a special reading, play-by-play of that fight?
Here's
that would
the
be good.
answer. I was going to, but it's 10 minutes long, and I thought about doing it. I started doing it, and then I realized a lot of people are going to have a lot of things to say, and it would be selfish of me to take that fight scene up for myself.
Oh, okay. Understood.
I think everyone should be able to play.
AI Show says, I've been championing They Live as a film for years. Sadly, now people are realizing how good a film is. They didn't years ago. Yeah, back when it was a warning, now we're living it. Princess Fiona says, think about it. There's not a single Carpenter movie where the casting wasn't perfect. He has a flawless eye for that. I think it's because he has a complete version in his mode for every movie. And more in the chat to
The only thing I would say is that because I got super jazzed for John Carpenter movies, I did have to check out a trailer for Children of the Damned, and I was like, wait a second. And then also we get Ghosts of Mars. We get is it Ghosts of Mars? I don't know.
I haven't seen those.
What's it called? Vampires. Vampires is perfect in terms of the casting. Princess Fiona, I'm with you like 90%, but there are some times like Christopher Reeve, Mark Hamill, great actors. Linda Kowalski from Crocodile Dundee in Children of the Damned. Sometimes he misses. And also one of his greatest regrets, maybe not regrets, but one of the criticisms that he's had in the past is working with Chevy Chase on Memoirs of an Invisible Man, because he felt that Chevy was a bit of a prima donna who was trying to break into being a serious actor, and it just didn't work. And but that was the nature of the film.
I'm not surprised
So
when Chevy's involved. I've heard a lot of things about him.
Okay, I'm sorry for interrupting, Scotty, but I have to say
Sure.
goodbye to John Malama. He says, I gotta run, unfortunately. See y'all soon.
Cheers,
Bye.
Jama.
Bye-bye.
Yeah. Bye, John Malama. Thank you so much for joining the channel, and we'll see you next time. And
But
you were
I
saying-
do
That's a
I
great
do
line.
understand.
That's
I do
a great
understand.
line there on the screen. That's a great line.
Oh, yes. There's a reason why I paused here, because I have a couple clips.
The golden rule. He who has the goal makes the rules.
So many good lines in this movie.
So interesting to see that scene. And as you watch the full scene, Piper is just mowing down on food. And through my, I don't want to hype myself up, but being a student of film production, eating scenes are always the bane of any actor, because you have to do take after take after take. And after a while, you get full if you're just supposed to be eating. And it was impressive to watch it, knowing how many takes of just Roddy Piper sitting there mowing down on a plate of food. And
How
it's
many
like,
takes?
wow.
Do you know how many takes it was, Scotty?
I do not.
Oh, okay. I'm just curious because maybe they got it like in a couple of takes. You never know, right? Like, which would be better for
Well,
Roddy?
yeah, don't some actors spit out the food or maybe he ate a lot of peas. But also, I have to say, see you later to DJ Play Nice. Thank you also for joining the channel. He says, got a jet.
Of course,
Thanks
if you
for
had to do an
hosting.
eating scene, you could always just like not eat any food for like a day, and then you'd be so hungry you could just endlessly eat, right? So,
And
Yeah, but
he
look at
also
how
says,
jacked he is.
y'all be safe, have fun, take care of your crew, and rock.
rock. Right
Rock
on.
on.
DJ.
And Kat, did you have something to say about this?
No, and I like the way he uses simplicity in the script always to set up everything that's going on with his characters. Like, it doesn't need to get bogged down in overly complex stuff. You get it. Like this movie, I remember when I watched when I first saw the trailer for this before I saw it, and I'm like, oh, okay, so this is a critique on Reaganism or Reaganomics. Got it. And it's like, okay, and these are the very down to earth, relatable people, which is why I like that they cast Roddy in the role, and Keith David, of course, another Carpenter veteran, which is great to see. And just the way that, like the guy talking about, sometimes I watch TV just to, get away from I stop being myself, which is kind of the idea, corporate messaging and all that jazz. Like everything's, God, you're trying to, like, if you think people were trying to sell you stuff a lot in the 80s, today it's even worse,
Well, yeah, it's not just TV now. It's, of course, the internet and the social media.
Don't forget to like and subscribe.
God. When I saw this beautiful photograph, it was a side-by-side comparison of Times Square. One photo was from 1900, and it was like at night, and the other photo was like from 2015 or whatever. And the one from 1900, the architecture of the buildings at night when it's kind of quiet, and it looks so gorgeous. And all it is now is just a bunch of digital billboards. It's like, why do people find this appealing to go there? I don't understand.
Bright lights, big city.
Well, the name of the game is Make It Through Life. Only everyone is out for themselves and looking to do you in. But at the same time, I really like Roddy's not a idea. Even with all of this pessimism, he still believes in America.
Yeah, doesn't he have a line where he says to him something about you need to be more optimistic or something? There's some line in there, I forget exactly, but when his friend is like given the gloom and doom message, Roddy's comes back like, maybe you should be a little more optimistic about life, or some kind of line like that. I don't
that's another thing that makes the friendship work, because one of them's kind of a bit more cynical and defeatist, and he's more of an optimist, so that makes for an interesting team.
Yes, exactly,
Well,
Kat.
And that does sort of speak to Nada's character, is that when he finally gets the glasses on and he looks at the television and they're giving an alien is giving a political speech, and he just sort of shakes his head and chuckles, and he's like, I should have known it was something like this. Where it's not the Americans who are doing it. It's an alien invasion.
Mm-hmm.
Well, the thing is, though, there's a lot of Americans that are in cahoots with him, so to speak, right?
Yeah, that's right. And it takes Nada the whole movie to figure out that, because he mostly only goes after the aliens and not the people that are supporting the aliens. But I
don't
do
kill
like
any people.
Yeah, I love
kill any
that.
people. Just kill the ghouls.
Princess Fiona says, I met Keith David. Besides a bit of gray, he looks the same 40 years later. I noticed that looking at an interview.
Cool.
I thought, man, that's some
black don't crack.
Aging.
That's nice.
That's what they say.
Man, that's really
that is
great.
what I heard.
And
wasn't never mind.
Oh, can you read this, Scotty?
Yes, Darius Munchausen in the chat says, and I am a big fan of Keith David. Awesome. I have been since I was a kid, long before I knew his name or face, when he was the voice of Goliath on Disney's Gargoyles. F yes, Darius.
Jay Goodwin is here. I love this movie. Yeah, me too.
Hey, Jay.
That's why we're talking about it.
And I like
first saw it a
setup
couple
with
years ago.
Sorry.
Yeah, go ahead.
I was just going to say, I like how there is this setup of the resistance trying to make people see, and watching the pirated television broadcast gives you headaches, and then the glasses give you headaches because it takes it is a tax on you to actually see, and then
learning
later
the
on,
truth.
learning the truth, which
hurts.
Yes, exactly. And
it's like
so
being
I do appreciate
programmed.
it. Mm-hmm.
Takes effort.
Keep us asleep, keep us selfish, keep us sedated. They're pulling the
And you can take this so many ways with modern entertainment and modern manipulation through advertising. Like, I think it's just as appropriate, prescient today as when it was made.
I think so too. And this movie uses sleep a bunch. There's a lot of messages about sleep, and I thought that had to have something deep going on there, having to do with our subconsciousness.
Well, and It is Friday, so I am going to bring up the filth. But this is one of those things where I think that it's for yourself, for myself, for many people, when you're watching entertainment that is meant to enlighten or meant to sort of expand your mind, as this does as a social satire. There are people who are trying to do social satire or social commentary, and they're not very good at it. And it does ultimately just put you back to sleep and in the arms of the entertainment that you're watching, as opposed to taking a message from the entertainment and going out into the world, which is frustrating. People who are subscribed to franchises or long running series, there is a certain level of reverence that was there at the beginning, but now it's just become product. And the people who are in charge of it are in, their goal is, just stay with the group. Stay with us.
They just want you to consume just because they're making it. They're making it. The corporations are writing it and pushing it out there, and you got to keep watching it because they say that it's the right thing to do, and you got to support your franchise, even though it no longer resembles what you once fell in love with.
Like Jay Bauman says, just consume product and wait for next product.
Yeah, but first, I have to say, see you later to JT Kirk. Gotta head out. Have a great weekend, and thank you, JT Kirk. He's also another new member today.
See you, JT.
Cheers,
I'm
JT.
just so happy to see you today, and I hope you have a lovely Friday and a great weekend.
The theme of consumerism has been with us for a long time. I can remember even back in the 70s, people were starting to talk about this stuff. But, man, it really has. This film really hits the nail on the head as to where society's going, because, we really are totally there now. It's like the quality of all the things we consume basically has gone down. Whether it's entertainment,
I don't think all.
Well, pretty much.
Well, I disagree.
Okay, so what things?
Hey, Dalek 451. So great to see you. Are you all right?
No, it's the thing. The thing is, I'm driving a 30-year-old car, for instance, right, Scotty? It runs like a dream. It might look like hell, but it still runs well. And I actually took it in for a check like 4 months ago. They put it up on the hydraulic hoist and took a look at everything, and everything is still tickety boo. It's like it's still as good as it was, when it came off the factory, pretty much, right? It's got a few things, but nothing serious wrong with it. On the other hand, I remember like a month ago driving down the road, and I see this relatively new car pulled over at the side of the road with the hood up and like the four-way flashers going, and I'm like, oh yeah. It's I think a lot of quality has disappeared. Just look at the goods on our shelves. Like there's a lot of stuff, from other countries that's mass produced and really pretty low grade stuff. And
well, things just, not only that, but the things we do have that we're used to, because since things have degraded over time, it's kind of like boiling a frog slowly. You don't really notice it, but what you do notice is very quick shrinkflation, where you buy something and you get less of it, and they haven't even really reduced the price.
Well, sometimes they'll reduce the quantity and escalate the price too, Jill, which is even more maddening.
Oh,
right?
Yeah, they did that with the Halloween candy this year. But
did they really?
Because
they are dismantling the sleeping middle class. More and more people are becoming poor. We are their cattle.
Oh, that's a good line too. Man, this film is just full of great lines. It really is.
Damn. And that's what I mean in terms of this particular film, and then being able to take a look at modern times through the prism of this film is every generation tends to look at what is happening currently as being a brand new thing. And this is what has been implemented and pressed against us. Whereas this movie from 30 years ago, 35 years ago, is just as relevant as it was then. And so if you're a 30-year-old and you're like, actually, they live is a great social commentary. This is something that has been going on since the 80s, and I'm sure it was going on since the 50s. Like, it had, ever since mass media had been employed to sort of inform the general population. I think this is a great social commentary.
It basically started post-war years, right, Scotty? Like, I would agree with you in the 50s, because look at some of those old 1950s TV commercials, like, pushing the products. It's kind of the same thing, I mean, maybe it's not as developed at that point. It's a little more innocent, perhaps, but it's definitely is paving the way for what's to follow, right? So yeah.
Well, the only innocence that is there is the presentation based on the way that you could say it in the 1950s or the 1980s.
Oh, yeah,
you couldn't
more
say
conservative
swears
time.
Casually over broadcast television, whereas today you can.
Yeah.
Oh, hey, and Nat G just tipped $1. Don't mean to interrupt, guys. I sent
Thank you for
a
the
Discord
dollars.
message. Also, what if Harvey gets into this dimension with these aliens?
Harvey the Wonder Hamster?
Harvey Cthulhu.
Oh, Cthulhu's are bitches.
Well, that's because they want to dismantle all of reality and take apart all of the atoms of the universe. And yes, I agree that's a bitch thing to do.
I think Harvey would stomp all of us as well as stomp the aliens too, so it would be over real fast.
Kapla to Birdo Prey 5. I watched this movie for the first time last night. Crazy. Hey, Bird, do you want to talk about it? I can send you if you wanted. I'm a little behind on some of the chats. I'm going to put one up. Can you guys read it? Let's see. Oh, this one.
Okay, who do you want to read this, Jill?
Please read it.
Which one of us? You talking to me?
Yes.
Oh, I didn't realize.
Whoever goes first.
Okay. Nada still believes in the quotation marks American dream, which is silly. As George Carlin said, quotation marks, the thing about the American dream is you have to be asleep to believe it.
But I agree with Kat in this particular regard, is that having the juxtaposition of Frank and Nada together, Frank is, of course, of the same mind as the AI show. Whereas I still think that the American dream involves a certain level of optimism. And while I don't want to take away from George Carlin, the reason that the American dream is there is that it's an aspiration. It's not a destination.
Well, yeah, I agree 100%, Scotty. It's like optimism might seem silly at times to some folks, I guess, but if you're going to go through life, you better have some optimism tucked away somewhere, because you're going to need it at times when the times get difficult, right? So a little bit of
exactly.
optimism,
I do agree with that.
Yeah.
And as Dalek says, enough doom and gloom. Dalek, we're looking into a sci-fi dystopian horror movie.
Yeah,
Dalek, watch the film. Watch the film, and you'll.
I hate to be the bearer of bad news,
but
everyone does.
It also depends on how you define the American dream. Different people define it different ways.
Well, as a Canadian, I define it very
definitely.
differently.
I tend to actually side a bit more with Nada, because I like to believe in meritocracy and all that stuff. AI Show says Idiocracy is another film I talked about at times. Easily one of the scariest social satires I'd ever seen. It got screwed over.
Welcome to Costco. I love you.
Mm-hmm. And Princess Fiona says televisions used to last 40 to 50 years to PvP's point. Now they die in 5 to 10 years. And
that's exactly true. Yeah.
I have to thank you. Nemesis of Eden decided to become a member, and I'm just so grateful. Thank you so much, Nemesis.
Hi,
Nemesis Enforcer.
He's the newest series superstar. I've got to figure out when to have a membership. Live.
I have actually yet to have a TV die on me. I have them in the attic or something because I just upgrade to the bigger, because I wanted to get bigger, nicer models. But the other ones still work. I'm like, well, I'm going to keep them.
Hey, Kat, can I have a TV?
If you pay for shipping and all that stuff, I suppose.
Isn't that always the rub? International shipping.
Yeah.
Yeah, I remember my parents got the color TV in early 70s, and the thing lasted till like the late 90s before it finally died. So it was a pretty good run. And I got a Sony in the living room that I've had for maybe 5 years. And after a couple of years, the picture started to go, get lines at the top of the screen. And so, yeah, they don't make them like they used to, as in at least my personal experience anyway.
Yeah.
Darius Munchausen in the chat says to me, a quote that I can't read anymore because she'll change it. One generation passeth away, and another generation cometh.
Sorry.
But the earth abideth forever.
Well, sounds better in the King James version, says Darius.
I do enjoy. Well, you know, we're a Commonwealth country, so I do enjoy King James.
And Princess Fiona says, "Oh, what do you want?
Oh, nothing.
What were you going to read?" Nothing?
I was gonna. Dalek was just saying that he didn't want to hear about doom and gloom anymore during our dystopian movie review.
That's kind of the point of they live. It kind of goes with the territory.
Yeah, it's kind of the point of the film.
You can't really get more doom and gloom than the police state running over a poor little
shanty
homeless people community. Yeah, it's like a shanty town and a soup kitchen put together.
Yeah, this is where where everything really starts to go to hell in this scene. Like this is a scary scene. Watching it the first time, I was like, "Oh no, this is bad."
Stormtroopers.
Yeah, basically, yeah, that's what I was thinking. It was horrific. Like sending in a riot. Basically, they're a riot squad with those shields going into a homeless camp. I mean, it's just nuts, right? This whole scene.
Well, and that's
bugged the hell out of me, really.
It's the benefit of the film because you're learning stuff in the same sort of progression that Nada is learning stuff. Like he's just trying to get along. He's got his own tools. He's a working poor, as he says himself.
Yeah.
And as this comes, it looks very assertive, but then you find out that there are more nefarious machinations happening in the higher ups with with the aliens who are attempting to cultivate us as cattle.
Well, what I like about the film too, Scotty, is like we learn along with the characters as the events unfold. So that makes
a thing that I just said. Yes.
Yes. Well,
this world may have blinded me, but the Lord has let me see. You'll be back.
I do like the preacher.
I do, and so yeah, this scene really hurts me because he gets beat up and it's really ugly. I really recoiled during this scene.
Oh yeah, some of the beatings in the movie were quite frightening, really.
And it was when they were talking about it. Even John Carpenter said that even though it was pre Rodney King, they were talking about how the police descended upon the blind preacher and beat him mercilessly. And he said that that's echoes of something that was only a couple of years off to see. Like that, this science fiction dystopia was not 30 years out. This science fiction dystopia having like filming of beatings. This was happening within 3 years of the release of the movie.
To that though, this film did have equality. The aliens would beat up everybody.
True, that is true.
Oh, yeah, that's true. Yeah.
A whole lot of people
they weren't racist.
Crazy over some nutty dream they just had.
No, the aliens were racist. They were against the human race.
No, they were exactly speciesist.
Well, it's race. It's for people are stupid. Like racism would literally mean against a whole other race because there's human race and that's it. But then somebody came along and decided that they're going to break it up to mean different ethnicities, which isn't true. So that's technically not even a correct term.
True.
Oh,
that's a very good point.
Yeah, good point. Yeah.
Yeah.
Although I'm a Canadian,
I think
so I'm a
different
different
cultures is more accurate.
Yeah.
Our hearts are in different places in our body. I don't know if you knew this about
Oh my God, the
Canadians.
fight scene, says Bird of Prey.
I can't wait to get there. It's going to be amazing.
Mm-hmm. And the AI show says meritocracy is no different from aristocracy. It's the ruling class of the talented, but
yeah, but
Princess
fuck
Fiona.
dummies.
I don't know about
Princess Fiona.
aristocracy being talented. Sometimes
No,
they're
I don't. Princess
do.
Fiona says meritocracy, as much as it ever existed, is completely dead in American culture now, replaced by equity. But I think it means that if you, well,
I agree,
the
Fiona.
way that Nada says it is, if I keep doing my best, then I'll make it. And
But that's it. And that's the thing, is that you, like, there is no harm nor foul to following someone who is more talented than you, someone who can do something better than you. You can learn from them, as opposed to the equity of attempting to represent. It's like, oh, there are people in my community who can do things just as good. And it's like, yeah, but I don't care about your community. I care about your ability.
well, that's the way it always used to be. Is people would learn.
I don't think so.
from
I
each
don't think it
other,
always
right?
used to be like that. No, I don't think so. I think that now, and I think that there was a time when that was elevated and the cream rose to the top. But now it is much more about representation, which is unfortunate.
Oh, yeah, now it
because,
is. Yeah.
like, you look at there are so many people from so many different communities and ethnicities of the same race, the human race, that are they elevate themselves, and and by that they elevate their communities, as long as they don't pull the ladder up behind them.
Bird Prey 5 says, I'm not racist, I'm ethnic.
That's right. It's not racism, it's stereotyping.
Matt G says, I'm sure it's happened before, King, but that's what 24-hour news networks are for. Who knows what bad or strange stuff happens in the 50s that no one knows about because it wasn't reported.
Mm-hmm.
Well, yeah, back then you had like maybe a 30-minute newscast once a day, right? So they only had so much time to, cover the main stories instead of all the crazy stuff.
Hello, Jim.
Even 24-hour news cycles suck too, because they just report the same few stories every day. They just find a whole new panel of morons to argue about it, like talking heads for throughout the day, and they always have a different personality hosting the show at the next top of the hour or whatever, and go over the same thing over and over again. And they curate what they want to show you, and they put their spin on it to the point that it's not even news anymore. It's just propaganda. And people just eat the shit up. So,
and that's something you discover if you do sit there and watch the entire day's worth of news, is that it's not news. It's just
a lot of international
same 5 stories
are a lot better. YouTube channels have a lot of access to those, so you can watch like full international news broadcasts, because they don't like put the. There's a lot of shows where they don't debate the news; they just report the facts real quick and they move on to the next thing.
Their propaganda is more subversive, so
right. So you gotta be careful. But the stuff in the 24-hour news cycle in America is just, oh god, it's horrible.
Yeah, I can't watch that stuff anymore.
At least it's more obviously propaganda.
I can't watch those channels anymore.
Yeah, horrible.
Jay Goodwin says, using force against homeless squatters wasn't new in the 80s. Go read about the clearing of Washington, D.C. when the World War I veterans showed up for payments owed. Thank you, Jay. I knew that that would be a thing.
I got a story for you about that. In the 1930s, when Elliot Ness was in charge of the hunt for the Mad Butcher of Kingsbury Run, he figured out that a lot of the people he was preying on were from this homeless shanty town, and he tried to get them to leave. He said, well, if you break up the town and move into separate little areas, then whoever the killer isn't going to feel as comfortable, because he's obviously blends in and preys in your area. And they wouldn't do it because there's really nowhere for them to go. So Ness just decided to burn the place down, and he did. And then the people had to flee because he just set massive fires to the whole thing and burned it to the ground, an entire shanty town. And it was like, and it worked. There weren't any other killings after that, because the killer didn't have a large area that he could safely move in and prey upon. But it's like, man, that's savage.
Yeah, well, Elliot Ness wasn't known for subtlety, I guess, was he, Kat? That's interesting. The blurb here about the World War One vets wanting to get the payments that they were owed, and they were basically, attacked by the authorities. I think there's something happened here in my part of the world too. I think down in Vancouver, there was something about World War One vets who showed up to protest, and they were not treated very well, to put it mildly. I'd have to look into the history, but it seems like I read about that years ago.
Hey, Dalek451 says he's got to go. See you later, Dalek.
Okay.
I can't
Have a
take
good one,
this
Dalek.
anymore.
I'm out of here.
Dalek's
Okay, bye,
getting too
Dalek.
depressed.
I'm
He's got to go
sorry.
have some. He's got to go have his
Well,
tea.
it's Halloween, and so I think scary. This is a scary movie in a way. Elliot Ness and Benjamin Sisko tip a hat to each other. Oh, are you talking about that episode? Let's see. Take care, Dalek, says Franco. And so, of course, Nada wonders about the church being open, and he goes in and he sees the choir. It's not really a choir; it's that secret meeting they're having. Oh man! And there's some chemistry going on, and the chemistry leads to the sunglasses because they're also making contact lenses, which we're going to get to see later, which is the upgrade to the sunglasses. And I think these are the science fiction elements of the movie. These sunglasses that let you see the truth of how the populace is being manipulated. This scene here is when he's getting the glasses for the first time.
Yeah, I have a little nitpick about the whole glasses thing, but I guess I'll save it for maybe the end of the stream. It's not the
You don't have
glasses
to save it.
themselves. Well, it's these guys are working their butts off to produce all these sunglasses. Like, I don't know how many boxes there were, when he went into the church or whatever the heck it is, and saw all the boxes there's tons of them, right? There must have been like maybe, I don't know, at least 1,000 pairs of sunglasses stacked up there. And I'm thinking, why don't they start distributing these sunglasses to people so they can find out the truth instead of just having them sit there, piled up,
I think that's the
not doing
idea.
any
That's what
good.
they want to do.
Yeah, but I would just like distribute them like in small
Like
quantities subtly. So I just
yeah,
put 10 of them in a bag and drop them on a bus
just leave
stop.
them around. Yeah,
And
that's a good idea. I don't know why
yeah,
they
that's
don't
what I
do-
was thinking
Well, you know what?
watching this,
Maybe
right?
they don't want the aliens to catch on who has the glasses, so they want to make sure that the people who have them are going to keep them a secret. And because if the aliens find out about them, then maybe
Could be.
they might figure out a way to make the glasses not work anymore, and so then they'll have to re-engineer the glasses again.
That's an interesting point, actually, Jill. But it still kind of bugged
Well,
me that they've got all these glasses stockpiled and they're just sitting there and not doing much good,
that's a fair point.
to anything really. They're just sitting there in boxes. And the one thing too bugged me about Roddy's scene here. He's got a box of the glasses, and of course, thank goodness he takes one, and then he stuffs the rest in a garbage can. And it's like the last thing I'd want to put anything I thought might be important is in a garbage can because it's probably not going to be there for long, right?
Yeah, no, that's the thing I noticed about this movie is our hero is not the smartest guy in the
Oh
world.
yeah.
He's
There's
kind
a
of
scene
stupid
coming up
sometimes.
soon. I think you might suspect the one I'm talking about, Jill, which I will point out that he's not the smartest, not the brightest bulb in the Christmas tree, so to speak.
Darius says giving the sunglasses away for free, like condoms, in a Detroit public high school.
There you go.
And hello to Wes Cagle. And Jake Godwin says the sunglasses bit is a great creative way to reveal the alternate reality on a low budget. Yeah, because they use these beautiful matte paintings in terms of to show the billboards and all that. And Jim is mowing and listening. Jake Goodwin says he is smart. I know he is. He is smart, but sometimes he does stupid things. And smart people can sometimes do stupid things.
Oh
The
yeah.
cops just busted that place that was making the glasses. He didn't want to be caught with that on him. Yeah.
I don't think they
Not,
busted it quite yet.
and yeah, they did. They did. They busted it. They totally busted it. Didn't you see
Oh, did they
the
bust it just after he left? Oh gosh.
No, no, they busted it. Don't you remember the fire and the bulldozers?
No, I'm talking about where the glasses are.
Yeah, they busted that place, but they
Oh.
didn't get the glasses because they were hidden behind this false wall that
Oh,
the
okay.
cops
Right.
didn't find.
Right. Yeah, then Roddy went back on his own. Right, I remember now. Okay. Thanks for jogging my memory there, Jill.
You're welcome. Is that a reference to Kurt Russell? Oh, in the thing?
I
The
think the
AI
movie did.
show says.
It made
Yeah,
like
the
13 million at the box office, I think I read. So it was actually, kind of, I guess it was kind of a hit, really.
and the AI show says the movie was made on a $5 million budget. Thank you to the AI show. I thought I read 3, but 5 might be right. Let me see.
I think it might have been 3 actually.
I'm not sure now. I don't wanna speak without knowing what I'm doing. I've got to check it out. Oh man, where did it go? Okay, here it is. It should say the budget.
Oh, I got it here, Jill. Wikipedia says 3 million budget.
Yeah, that's okay. Thank you very much, PvP.
And the
James
box
Caserta says
office,
smart
13
people are full of
13 million.
self-doubt and stupid people are full of confidence.
Yeah,
And
I
Princess
agree
Fiona
with that
says to the
statement.
AI show is I'm despondent. I didn't pick up on that. I thought I had the entire movie memorized.
Hmm.
Wow. Who pissed on your CPU this morning? Okay, so I'm gonna find it. I don't have to suggest anything. Okay, there you go. And Cinema Gulp, hey, love this movie so much. Had the pleasure of seeing it on the big screen last month. Made the 7-minute fight that much more awesome. Isn't it 10 minutes?
Wow, I wish
Is
I
it
could
10
see it on
minutes
the
or
big screen.
7
That's
minutes?
cool.
I love the money having "This Is Your God" printed on it. Yeah,
Oh
so
yeah,
let's get through more of the movie.
that was great. I love all the messaging
Definitely.
actually. The messages are pretty awesome and scary.
Yeah. Yeah, definitely. And I do like how the rebels are trying to use the signals that the aliens are using against the populace against the aliens. So turning their own weapon against them. And all of these signs really cool. And
Yeah, John Carpenter made one hell of a statement with this film. I was thoroughly impressed. Like that's an amazing scene there. That just kind of sums up our society in a very scary way. Oh man. Oh yeah, this is great. Is this the
what's your
first
problem?
this is the first reveal of the skull faces, right?
Yes. But one of the things I like to see is let me hide. How do I hide everybody? Like this? No.
Well, we're not there now, so I think you hit us pretty good.
Yeah. No. I kind of want to get rid of everything. Oh, to remove everybody. Yeah. Anyway,
You
I
might want
like
to
all of the signs. One of my favorite ones is the one that says work 8 hours, sleep 8 hours, play 8 hours. And so that is a good way to if you drill that into everybody, then they don't have any time for being rebels, do they?
Yeah, it kind of sums up my life. Exactly.
Hello. Hey, hello to the Comic Relief Crusader. Great to see you. And the other signs say conform, stay asleep, consume, obey, watch TV. So bread and circuses, basically.
Oh yeah.
Marry and reproduce. No independent thought. Oh, and the one that hurt me the most, the that you don't see that often, but on the magazine stand it said doubt humanity, and I think that one is the biggest one, the most harmful one.
You know, and that's very prevalent now, isn't it? I see a lot of pessimism and negativity. You
And
know,
that's why Dalek couldn't stand it anymore, and he had to go play games.
well, watch the movie though, Dalek. It makes more sense.
Oh no, Dalek's long gone. He left. He
No,
couldn't take it.
I suggested that when he was here,
He's
but
he's Frank. He doesn't want to put on the glasses.
he's probably watching Doctor Who or something, right? So, you know.
Darius says give the glasses away for free. Oh yeah, I read that one already. Let's see. Where am I in the chat?
Oh, you've lost your way in the chat. Oh no.
Just a little bit. That scene was interesting foreshadowing, as if on some level he knew he wasn't going to need the chess computer again. Under normal circumstances, he would have regretted doing that.
Yeah.
I guess Jill doesn't want to address the Dunning-Kruger effect. She zipped right past it. Oh, let me see. I'm not trying to skip anything. I'm just trying to.
Yeah, people don't always
Make
assume they're
sure.
trying to ignore you just because they didn't read your comment immediately. The comments are coming nonstop in the chat.
They are no. I mean, I want to read everything.
Yeah.
I'm sorry. Let me see where it is.
Well, you got 17 people watching, so probably a good number of those are in the chat. So no wonder it's busy. I'm not surprised, really.
I'm very happy to see that it's busy.
That's awesome. Oh, by the way, folks, if you're going to be in the chat, why not hit that thumbs up button while you're here?
Oh, thank you, BVP. That's a good idea.
You're very welcome. Hey, Jill, would you mind taking this guy's face off of the screen? Because I'm kind of getting a little tired of looking at his skull. Thank you.
But he's still the alien PvP just because you can't see him.
Yes, but I prefer this face over his real face.
Hey, hello, Kronos.
Hey, you know, it just occurred to me the aliens are literally two-faced.
The worst sign.
We already did discuss the Dunning-Kruger effect earlier with a comment where somebody said that, stupid people tend to have way too much confidence in themselves, where smart people have very low confidence in themselves. That's what it is.
Oh,
Yeah,
okay.
yes, we did already discuss that. They just weren't paying attention.
No. Or she made the comment before I read that, which is
that's possible too.
Yeah, that's what I think happened. Bird of Prey 5 says the worst sign I saw was the one that said "Watch STD." Yes, that is the worst one.
That's really horrifying.
That one was such a subliminal one in the movie that I didn't even see it. Bird. Also, a way of describing the character and what he will be forced to do later in the movie. Oh, look, it's Nancy Pelosi. Oh, he was talking about the last.
Oh, jeez.
Actually, that's not too far off.
Oh, God.
Nancy Pelosi is 492 years old. This is James Caserta. I can't believe she finally retired. Finally.
Well, everybody has to retire eventually.
Before dinosaurs ruled.
If you don't retire from work, life will retire you eventually. So.
It's true. This is your god.
Great.
That's what somebody mentioned. Somebody mentioned this is their favorite.
That's so true, though. I mean, it is like without money, you're kind of done, right? Because I don't want to be out in the street right now, sleeping at night in minus 20 degrees when it hits, during the winter. And some folks do. Like, yikes.
Yeah, and that's where you would be.
Yeah.
If you didn't have money. Submit,
Gotta pay that
do not
rent.
question authority, no imagination are the other signs. My favorite part of this movie is seeing what everyone sees and then see what the glasses reveal. And so this is really great. So
one question I have is why did Carpenter make the decision I mean, I guess they're sunglasses, so it makes sense. Everything's kind of in black and white or whatever when he puts the glasses on. But was that like a technical decision, or I'm just curious about that.
Wait, what's the question?
Well, I mean, the sunglasses, when anybody puts the glasses on, everything is like monochrome in black and white, right? And I'm
Huh?
just wondering, was that like a technical choice, or was it like a directorial kind of artistic choice? I'm just curious. I mean,
I
I don't
bet it
know.
was artistic. Scotty, come back and tell us about what Carpenter was thinking when he decided to use monochrome
Well, I also wondered,
for
like, did
Well,
Carpenter?
and I'll tell you.
his matte painting things.
Well, with the matte paintings, they were all like in terms of the billboards that were going on. Those were all matte paintings. All of this was filmed in black and white, just so the audience would have the differential between what Nada was seeing and what he wanted to convey. It's like, and Roddy goes into this huge in it. It's like, it's incredible because you do it with the use of black and white as Nada walking around. And it's like, okay, there is an obvious sort of, the blinders are taken off when he's wearing the sunglasses. And it is just differential for the audience.
Yeah, and like Miskatonic Madman says, black and white makes aliens look creepier.
I think that's
And
a
it's
good point, actually. Yeah.
It's the Jaws principle. You don't want to show them too much. You kind of just want to get them in naturalistic representations.
I also think too that if they were in color all the time, they would look less effective, like less realistic. There's something about the black and white that makes the masks feel more real, if that makes any sense at all. I don't know if it does, but
Well, that and like Comic Relief Crusader says, it helps you know the difference when you're seeing the truth versus when you're not.
Yeah.
Yeah, well, what I like is, in the quote real world, everything's in color, of course, right? If you don't have the glasses on. But
well,
it's not the real world when he puts the glasses on. Then we see the real world and it's kind of stripped down to, the basic reality of the situation, right? So I'm kind of thinking maybe that was some kind of artistic statement the Carpenter
The
might have
AI
been
show
trying to
says
make.
the glasses are a perfect device. It's directly optical. Plus, it sort of harkens back to the 3D craze of the 50s when you needed 3D glasses. It's simple and effective.
No, that I agree with.
Wait, does this movie come in 3D?
No. But it is, and I agree with Wes Cagle, and I agree with the interpretation. And one thing that I would push back against from what you said, PvP, is that the real world is the one in black and white.
Yeah, but my point was, our hero here has perceived the real world in color before he put the glasses on, and then when he puts the glasses on, he actually sees what is real, and it's kind of like the stripped down basic reality was the point I was trying to make.
Yeah, it's because all the shiny colors of consumerism and everything are no longer distracting him when he has the glasses on because it's black and white.
Exactly. Yeah, that's kind of the point. Thank you, Kat. I was trying to make that point. Yeah.
And thank you, Kat. And this is the part where I think he's not. It's not quite that intelligent to tip off
Joe.
the aliens that you can see them.
Yeah, this was the scene I was talking about earlier.
He does it not once but twice. He does it once, and so I could forgive him the first time, but then he keeps doing it.
But it does sort of harken back to his character as just being a regular guy, and
oh yeah,
the way that Piper explains it, he says, "Can you imagine being the only person who knows the truth, and all you want to do is tell everyone the truth? You just want to say, hey, that bitch, fucking ugly. You're cool, but that chick, wow, dog's breakfast." And it's like, so what do you do when you're trying to explain it? And the first time that you're going to discover it, you're going to scream to high heaven. And then when you find out that they are against you and they are trying to silence you, well, then now you have to be surreptitious. And there was a little bit of pushback in terms of making Nada a vigilante. And Piper says, it's like, I don't know, is he a vigilante? And John Carpenter is like, well, I would say you're going up against an alien invasion on your own, and the power in charge is the aliens. So yes, you're a vigilante. Even like, are you a vigilante if the powers that be are evil and malevolent?
Hello to Mr. MH.
I agree with
I've
what
got
both
one
of you
that
guys
can
are saying,
see.
actually. I do think Jill's point is valid that it is a really stupid move on his part to sort of give himself away.
But when I found out he's a wrestler, it made these scenes a lot better, because I can definitely see this is the kind of thing you would do.
No, the thing is, I get Scotty's point too, Jill. It's like, I think Carpenter made the decision to make him give himself away, to flip the switch, so to speak, into the horror sci-fi mode totally in this scene. So now he's basically got to flip from the regular easygoing guy minding his own business, more or less, to he's got to turn into the vigilante now. He's got to become the action hero now, right? Because that's what the film needs. So
well, Kat, I have a question for you.
I get this scene.
Yeah.
So considering John Carpenter's career, his successes and his failures up until 1988, do you think that this could also be some sort of conversation, or at least representation of him sort of rebelling against the studio structure, rebelling against the movies that he was told he had to make because they were, blockbusters and they were meant to sell popcorn and soda? Do you think? Okay, cool. Would you be able to expand on that, just based on Carpenter's previous filmography?
He did say that the movies that he made between The Thing and They Live were movies that he only made because The Thing failed. And he's like, yeah, I'm still proud of those movies. I still worked on them. I still like them. But he says his career would have gone in a very different direction if The Thing had been better received and not, flopped and trashed upon release. And he's making a movie that is basically criticizing that entire corporate logic, where rather than just getting kicked out of Hollywood for The Thing flopping, it's like, no, we still think you're competent enough as a director, but we're not going to let you do what you want anymore. Here, go do these types of things. And yeah, they're somewhat profitable, but they don't have any staying power. And he doesn't really. It's like a job at that point, And admittedly, it is kind of ironic that Carpenter even made this film, because he's been on record saying he loves the fact that Halloween has been franchised to death, because he's like, I get those residual checks every time they make another Halloween movie, and I'm a capitalist, and I enjoy that.
Oh, yeah.
Well, he does appreciate capitalism at the same time as realizing how it can be corrupted, I think, is what it is.
Yeah, which I thought was funny, because it's like this movie's striking out against the banality of how hollow corporate culture is, of like franchising everything to death and get you to come back for more product no matter how weak the product is. But yeah, he's in favor of that as long as he can get a paycheck out of it.
Well, yeah, and that is one of his famous things, is that every time that they make a new Halloween movie, he just opens his hand and they drop a check in it.
Oh yeah, somebody just mentioned in the comments that he made Big Trouble in Little China before this. Like, yes, he did make Big Trouble in Little China. He's like he said, he's proud of those movies. He still made them. But he's like, those aren't the movies he necessarily wanted to make. That there are movies that Hollywood told him to make that would be, things that are necessarily going to make more money. And eventually, as we know, he eventually got fed up with Hollywood entirely and said he was done and just gave up his film career.
Well, wow. Okay, that's fascinating look at his career. Thank you, Kat.
It is a bit of a dichotomy, though, isn't it, about capitalism? Like, it's kind of like a necessary thing that we all need to survive, because we're all a part of it. And yet we are aware, well, some of us are at least are aware that how corrupt and self-serving it can become to a certain, class of people in our society. So Carpenter's
We
points
need
in the
it.
film are totally valid, but at the same time, I can't really blame him for, liking to get that paycheck because, he has
Yeah.
worked his butt off, so he deserves it, right? So,
Oh yeah, because
Yeah, but
the real reason.
capitalism and altruism can exist
oh yes,
together.
Agreed,
yes, I
completely.
agree, I agree,
Yeah, and
I agree.
I think the problem is that his career kind of ended 20 years before the streamers came along. Because the streamers are willing to pay whatever it is when the studios say no, because they recognize the talents of guys like Scorsese or whatever, and like, yeah, we'll pay your 200 million for your movie. We don't care because we recognize talent. Whereas Carpenter, there was no other option at the time. Like for instance, the real reason he turned down that 20th anniversary Halloween movie is because he wanted a $10 million director's fee because he felt his name was worth it. And they said no because they could get Steve Miner for, I think it was Steve Miner who did that one for $2 million. And then he wanted to do the sequel to The Thing because he had the script and he talked about what the story would involve, and he wanted a particular budget for it. And once again, the studio said no because they weren't looking at the fact that The Thing had since become a cult classic and was being more appreciated in mainstream media. They just went back to look at the old box office receipts and were like, well, no, nobody liked that movie, and so they wouldn't pay for that either. Whereas if things like Apple and Netflix and those people been around back then, I'm sure they would have scooped up Carpenter in a second, and just he would have gone back to making what he wanted to make because they would have given they would have respected that talent and respected that name and given him what he wanted to do, what he wanted.
Then we would have gotten
yeah,
way more
yeah.
stuff. That would
Yeah.
be cool.
Going through his sort of later years and seeing what John Carpenter has done. I know he's gone on the road with his band and he's performed his incredibly famous scores. Like the man, yeah, he's a fan of capitalism because he enjoys, eating and living in a house.
Yeah.
But he's an older man, and he acknowledges that in this movie, like in this audio commentary, again by Shout Factory. We're not sponsored, but if you'd like to, please. And he says it's like when you're a young man, you want to jump in, and this is why it's a fascinating audio commentary, because it's a director and a wrestler talking about the toll that those careers take on you as a young man. And the older you get, Roddy Piper is very grateful to John Carpenter to sort of launch his acting career. And John Carpenter talks about, after a while, is it worth the hassle? Is it worth the pounding that you get from money people or studios or whatever it happens to be, the people who are sort of shaping your creative vision? And the answer is no. I make my money. I make my money based on the things that I've already made, and I still have a decent living based on those successes. If there's something that I want to be a part of, then I will be, but ultimately I get to pick and choose. And I think that's fascinating. I think it's fascinating when artists can say, you know what, I don't have to do anything for you people anymore. I've already expressed what I want. Would it be fun to say more? Sure. But am I going to take the beating that I have before? Am I going to take that again now as an older man? I don't have to. I don't want to. So please enjoy.
Yeah, I totally relate to what Scotty just said. That's all very valid.
That was John Carpenter. That wasn't me.
Well, no, but you conveyed the thoughts, so thank you, Scotty.
So you bastards die just like we do.
You talked about taking the beating and the pounding that life can dish out, whatever you're doing in life. And I was just thinking, in Piper's case, he was literally taking a beating and a pounding in his wrestling career. So I'm sure he must have been very happy to be working with someone like John Carpenter and launch his acting career, because obviously that gave him another choice as far as, having a steady income where he didn't have to go in the ring, week after week and get, basically pounded on, by some other wrestler. And so, I'm sure he was very happy to have his career as an actor, and we're
And
happy too, of course.
and more on the point to him being a wrestler, he also came up with some lines for this movie,
Oh, this
particularly the
line.
most famous one. And I clipped the middle of it just to avoid copyright claims. So if it seems strange, this is why.
I have come here to chew bubblegum and kick ass. And I'm all out of bubblegum.
That's a great line.
New
That's gotta be
ringtone.
That's got to be one of the greatest lines in movie history. It really is. It's so good.
And that was all Roddy Piper. Roddy Piper
Nice.
wrote that. That was his line.
Jeez, that's great. That's awesome stuff. Yeah. That's like with Rutger Hauer writing the Tears and Rain speech, right? It's like right up there at that level as far as great dialogue in a film.
A runner-up that I didn't clip was when one of the aliens says, "Near the entrance has a shotgun," and he says, "Mama don't like tattletales."
That's a great line.
That's a good one too. Yeah.
Then he shoots him.
Well, no, he
Bubblegum
tries
line,
to
though.
shoot
Oh,
him,
God.
but
Oh, right.
the alien actually teleports away with his little watch.
Yes.
His little
Sorry, I forgot
teleport.
about all the other aliens that he shot.
Yeah, he shoots lots of them though. He shoots plenty others. That's why I didn't clip it, because he didn't get to shoot.
Well, and I like that. I like that there is sort of a rule in terms of this rampage. And then when he does get to Keith David, he says, "Don't shoot people."
Oh, is he not with us anymore? Rest in peace, Roddy Piper.
Yeah, he died
Yeah.
back in 2015.
2015.
Mhm.
He died from a heart attack caused by hypertension, better known as high blood pressure. And it's too bad Roddy
Not
had.
Roddy Piper.
Yeah, he died 2015.
Well, no, I know, and everybody does, so don't get all morbid.
Oh, not
but like
everybody does.
everybody dies. And this is
Oh,
one of
yeah.
those things where I am so grateful for the 110% that he gave. The man lived a life, and highs and lows, but two forms of entertainment, like being a world champion of wrestling entertainment, and then also being an actor and performing in so many things, like Canadian children's films he did. Like, he was all over the place. He wasn't just a hard ass. He had a heart.
Oh, he's a
And
great guy, I think, personally.
and
Yeah.
so, like, I do appreciate. I don't like to miss the man or lament their passing, but
No,
I like to
celebrate.
celebrate. I like to celebrate the life. Like, he didn't even know who the shit I was, but he was an influence to me.
Well, isn't that the way a lot of our entertainment heroes are? We never meet them necessarily, but they inspire us.
Sorry, Jill,
Oh.
you're roboted.
Jill, your mic.
Lister became a sponsor, and I'm not sure what that means. But thank you, Lister, for becoming a sponsor.
Huzzah.
I had to figure out what that entails.
Then we get
But-
Meg Foster.
Yes,
Oh,
but
yeah.
before we get her, as Jay Goodwin says, beat your feet when he encounters the human police officer. Yes.
Yes.
Oh, I've got a thing. I got a thing for the beat your feet. So in the audio commentary, apparently, and you know what? I'm going to stop. I'm going to stop saying what happens in the audio commentary, because I do recommend getting the Shout Factory the Screen Factory Blu-ray. No, I'm going to do a little sparingly, because I think it's something you got to hang out and listen to yourself. It's
Not everybody's going to do that, though.
It's so entertaining,
We're
because
here
the
for it.
first take of it is Roddy says, "Beat your feet," and that was an improv. And the first time the policeman heard that, he just started running in place, and so he's beating his feet against the concrete, and then so they cut. And because Roddy Piper is just howling, laughing, and he's like, "It doesn't mean it means go away. It means
That's
leave,
funny.
run."
Yeah, I'll have to pick that up one of these days, Scotty. That sounds like a pretty awesome commentary.
It's so fun. And if you get a chance to listen to any John Carpenter audio commentary, it is like being invigorated by the passion for film.
Cool. Well, a lot of these independent directors do have a passion for film. That's why they're independent, right?
Well, I wouldn't necessarily.
So
call.
they can
Well,
no, but
yeah,
that,
no, he
that way
is.
they can do their follow their own vision is what I'm trying to say.
Yes, agreed.
So Wes
I gotta
Cagle,
say,
thank you, Wes Cagle. This is so awesome. Wes Cagle just became a member at the series superstar
wow,
level. Woohoo.
Jill's going to have millions of members very soon.
Millions. I only have 500 subscribers. But he says I'm going to have
Just
millions of members.
Hey, I'm trying to be
There are
optimistic, you know.
there are tens of us.
I gotta say, Meg Ryan.
Now you're sounding like Spock. If you're gonna get nasty, I'm gonna leave.
She's got the most amazing eyes I find. Those blue eyes are just unbelievably awesome.
Meg Foster, not Meg Ryan.
Oh, Meg Foster. Okay, sorry.
Oh no, it's cool. I just want to
I
get
get my
credit where
Megs
credit
mixed
is
up
due.
sometimes.
I don't need your fantasy women.
Oh, Meg, she's not a fantasy woman. She's a real woman, but oh well.
Wes Cagle says, just noticed one can join the channel now. Thank you for that $2 super chat.
I should get around to it.
Princess Fiona says, then I guess it kills you guys over there too. To Franco Walker. Ooh. Kills what? What happened?
I don't know. I don't.
Talking about high
I don't
blood
know.
pressure or something, because
PvP, are you doing a live stream?
not that I know of.
Not that you know of. Okay.
I'm going to be on with Gorilla doing the Waltons stream later. But,
Oh, well, there you go. That's what Jim wanted to know about.
oh well, yeah, Waltons. I think Gorilla said he's going on at like 6 o'clock his time, which is I think Central.
All right, save it for the end when we're pumping up our
So
own
Princess Fiona says,
Oh, well,
I
there
always
was a
thought. Well, no,
question,
I
so I
asked.
answered
I
it.
asked about it. I actually asked about it because Jim asked about it. So I was asking for Jim. Princess Fiona says, I always thought that if they ever showed Niall's wife, Maris, on
Maris.
Frasier, she should have been played by Meg Foster. Sadly, they never showed her. I really liked Frasier.
That was a good
Princess
show.
Fiona, that's interesting. That's a good call. That's a good call.
I never pictured Maris as a Meg Foster type, though. I pictured her as more fragile, you know.
Maris?
Whereas Maris always, I thought the way Niles would describe her, it seemed like she was like a small, you know, fragile kind of woman, and at least in my mind when I, you know, imagined her.
So when we,
when
we think of her in this movie, I like to think that that this movie is also saying that we can also be part of the enemy, where the enemy is us too.
She's a collaborator.
Yes.
Yeah, we haven't got there yet, but she
Collaborator. Yeah, I know what I was thinking about Deep Space Nine too, and the Bajorans who helped the Cardassians, and how Kira would sometimes hurt other Bajorans because they were collaborators.
Oh my God, Nada he's Major Kira.
These dudes are hilarious.
They don't really do anything. They're just there.
No, but they're hilarious. Like they're only in the movie, what, maybe 15 seconds or something in total, but they definitely made an impression. I thought, oh, these guys are just funny. It was like a little tiny bit of comedy relief for a few seconds. I liked it.
Well, and there's an interesting sort of situation that happens. Roddy does complain about being hit on the head with the wine bottle. And then John Carpenter backs it up by saying that he was hit. And the first time that Meg Foster hit him, she didn't hit hard enough. So it just sort of went bonk on his head, which is still painful. And so, Piper is like, oh no, that didn't hurt. Thank you. Let's do it again. And so they finally break the bottle over his head. And apparently he said it knocked the dog out of him, which I still don't know what that means, but that's what he said. And this stuntman who jumps out of the window, gets thrown through the glass, That was Arnold Schwarzenegger's stunt double for a time. And Rod talks to the stunt double and is just like, oh man, that guy goes for it. He does it well. It's so crazy. Like if you want to hear the love for this movie, there is nothing better than hearing Roddy Piper talk about how much he adores this flick. It is amazing.
That is pretty amazing for
heart.
somebody to be jumping from that high of a vantage point. They could have very easily broken their neck.
I was amazed at that scene because I don't know how many feet. That was like a 30-foot drop or something when he, got smashed out the window. It's like I was amazed that he would get up and walk away because I'll tell you, if I fell like that, I'd be going to the emergency ward or maybe the morgue, It's like, man, that's a long, long drop. And that was
Claude Paris says, every time I walk into a bank, I think of They Live.
I worked in a bank, Claude. Please don't do that.
Thank God I don't have to go into banks anymore. I do everything online.
You just
have guys are up late. Bet for Hire and I finished the woke mirror before Halloween. Yeah, have fun with that, Tony.
What a clumsy title.
Here we come up.
Hey, he's not gonna. He can't change it now.
Sure.
Here we get to the most amazing fight scene in cinema history.
Okay.
This is a great.
It should be the Nightmare Before Hell Awoke. That's my opinion. Anyway, moving on.
Oh, okay. See, that's much nicer because now you're being constructively critical.
I'm not just yelling from the background like Statler and Waldorf.
Yeah.
Hey,
yes.
Get off the stage.
If you're going to throw peanuts, offer a solution.
Thank you. I appreciate that, and I stand corrected. Thank you.
Yeah, this is a classic.
This is. Darius says Meg Foster's eyes.
Oh, here we are.
They are.
Yeah, this is the fight scene. It's
this
the
is
scene
an
that lasts
incredible
forever.
scene.
And this is it's 10 minutes. It's the best. It is the best fight scene in cinema history.
It really is fantastic. Yeah.
And if you wanted to qualify it, street fight, because there are boxing matches and whatnot, but not. This is one of those weird fights that occurs when it's not between the protagonist and the antagonist. This is who ultimately, with Frank and Nada, team up. This is an attempt from Nada to convince Frank to be on his side. Nada does not want to kill Frank. He's not trying to beat him to submission to the point of, fine, you're against me, I'm going to kill you. This is, please believe me, and the only way I'm going to do it is with physical combat. I have to make you believe me, and that conflict culminates in resolution and a fermenting or fomenting of their relationship. Like, these are two friends. One doesn't believe the other, and the only goal is, please believe me. And I find that fascinating. And Jill, you sent me a message about this when he busts the car and he breaks the glass, and then he finally he realizes, I've gone too far. I'm so sorry.
I'm sorry.
Yeah, he realizes if he hit his friend in the head with that plank, it wouldn't be a good outcome. So he drops it right away, right? It's like, oh, shit.
Yeah, apparently Roddy worked with Keith David for a month and a half on that fight, to the point where they were making contact. It wasn't the old-fashioned Western hit. They really went at it, and that's what made the fight as convincing as it was. This is from an interview with Carpenter. What made the sequence work also was that we used a Panaglide camera to follow them around. So the scene is more like a ballet.
You gotta love that realistic dialogue too.
What? Fuck you?
Well, all through the whole
that
sequence.
and put on the glasses.
There's so much cursing. It's so finally he puts the glasses on and sees what's going on.
Well, and Keith David was a dancer, and so there was a lot of choreography going on with it, and there was a lot of trust between these two guys during the shoot. in
Well, a
terms of
wrestler,
they do a suplex, and
a
it's based
yeah.
on the skill of Roddy and the trust of Keith David to actually do the moves. Like
Well, a
that was
wrestler.
even with the padding that was underneath the sweatshirt. Obviously, you can see it right now. Like Keith David is a very muscular man, but like he was wearing padding to have wrestling moves done upon him, and that was a level of trust to just sell those fights. It was amazing. Again, I will say that this is the best fight scene in the history of cinema.
I
Well, the
think
thing
so
is
too,
too.
because usually I'm not really one who likes to watch a long fight scene, but this one was great because it was interspersed with dialogue that made sense with the story and how Frank was just not into learning the truth whatsoever. He just wanted to work for his family, send them money, work for his family, send them money. He just wanted to keep going and go along to get along. And
Yeah.
but just as much not wouldn't give up, tenacious in getting his friend to see the light.
I could see them working on the fight scene to that extent, though, because I mean,
And I
we
agree with classic comics. The glasses are the original red pill. That's what I was thinking, is that Frank wanted to keep the blue pill. But yes, PvP.
well, their backgrounds as a wrestler and a dancer are both careers that demand a lot of physical, stress on your body, right? I mean, whether you're a wrestler or a dancer, you really got to work hard to stay in shape, and of course, you're going to be aware of your body movements, how to move, and so I'm not surprised this fight scene is so excellent, and they worked on it, for that amount of time to perfect it because they both appreciate how body language and body movement can make a powerful scene, right?
Bird Prey 5 says, by the time the fight was over, I was honestly considering if they realized they were both gay for each other. Like they
Oh my
found true
goodness.
love. I was happy for them. Well,
I
no,
never
Stop
thought of I never
they were
being
thought of that.
so suburban.
they were
Gay, straight, it's all the same nowadays. But
they
kapla,
were
bird of prey.
yeah, kapla. I
That's
think that
hilarious.
they walked away from that best friends,
Yeah,
not
just
necessarily
friends.
gay for
Just
each other.
friends.
They
No
walked away.
benefits, just friends.
Well, they say it. They say it right after the scene. Brother. They're
Brother.
brothers now.
Awesome.
It's also a very realistic fight, unlike other fights where people flip around and do moves ordinary people cannot do. This is believable, raw, and both actually get hurt.
Yeah,
Yeah,
exactly.
they do
That's why
actually get hurt, but there is some makeup gore
I do
that
think their
looks really good.
backgrounds, though, as a dancer and a wrestler, do make the scene realistic because they know what looks real and what looks fake, right? They're both knowledgeable.
Okay, Scotty, this is for you.
Uh-oh.
Go. If you haven't already. Oh, maybe he already went.
No,
Hey,
I got
that's
back,
what-
but I appreciate that. I appreciate that.
Just making sure. Hey, if you think
Everyone,
something private
mark
chat
your calendars. Scott peed at 3:16 on whatever day this is.
on Friday. It's Friday. But also
Not the 13th.
No, that was
Brother, life's a bitch. She's back in heat.
It's amazing.
I don't know how many great lines they packed into this film. I should actually watch it again and actually count them because there's just too many to remember. It's so good.
Well, and they show up, obviously beaten to hell, wearing their sunglasses.
yeah, in
I
the
take
chat
it it's
somebody
not
said that that's their favorite part.
it's not an A-list hotel, I'm guessing they check into. Yeah.
Jay, you are absolutely perfect. Says, I absolutely love Keith David's line delivery when he says, I want a room at the hotel desk. Absolutely. This is so cool.
Do Mocklins ever use catheters? But no, because they only pee once a year. Well, I guess if they can't pee, and so they have some kind of condition where they can't pee that one time during the year, and so they need a catheter to remove it.
I tell you, once a year would be very
Maybe.
convenient. That could save a lot of time.
That's what Ed Mercer said.
Yeah, because Ed Mercer gets up several times during the night.
That is
I know the
unfortunate.
feeling. Unfortunately, at my age.
What, you're
Hey,
like
nice
20?
bag of groceries. I gotta say, he looks damn cool with those shades on.
I don't know, man. I was looking at them, and they are an actual, they're a Ray-Ban model, and they're not my favorite. I like the Men in Black Ray-Bans better.
Yeah.
Well, it is what it is.
But that's the difference between the 80s and the 90s, I suppose.
Well, I think what happened with this movie was a lot of props were reused from other movies, so I wonder where they even came from. Like, here's glasses.
Dude! Speaking of reused props, did you see the PKE meter?
Yeah, from Ghostbusters is what made me
Yeah.
look into that.
We'll get there. I hope.
Oh, one scene that we skipped is the scene where he's talking about his dad who was abusive that he ran away from, and I had no idea that Roddy had a similar experience in real life. You were mentioning it? What?
Yeah, I remember earlier I read some of his life history, and yeah, he did have a falling out with his father, and that's why he went to, and left home and stayed in youth hostels and whatnot, and did odd jobs to survive. Yeah, so yeah, I'm sure he was channeling his real life experience, Jill.
Well, and to build on that, that is something that he brought up, just talking about his experience. He refers to himself as being an inexperienced actor throughout this production, and he has nothing but praise for John Carpenter, saying that there were moments where, like, you would have hours and hours of conversation to try and find out, but one of the slow moments before a scene started was Roddy in with Keith David in the hotel room and talking about that and how he was really nervous and he didn't know how to approach it, and how John Carpenter sort of fostered him through the honesty of it. And Piper does say, he's like, I wish I could do that again because I just don't think I got it. And John Carpenter says it's naturalistic. It seems like it's coming from the heart. I think you did a great job. And I also want to praise Piper's sort of performance in that. He's not just a meathead dummy. Like even in the commentary, Carpenter says it's almost method how you wanted to approach that emotional performance. And so what you were saying earlier, PvP, in terms of award-worthy performances, one of the things that I enjoy about actors is that if you see a guy and you're like, oh no, he's just saying lines and whatever, but if you don't see the man, then he is truly acting. And I don't see Roddy Piper in this movie because I was a fan of his wrestling career, but like I see the character. He's so much more subdued and so much more emotional, but also just under the surface as opposed to being overt.
There's a great subtlety to his performance in this film, which I picked up on as soon as I started watching it, right from the early scenes. His performance was so genuine and heartfelt and real. It just felt real. I wasn't watching an actor. I was watching a character. Like I was totally immersed in who Nada was right from the early scenes. It was just like I totally believed I was watching a real person, not anybody doing acting, right? So I just love this performance. I think it's one of the greatest performances I've ever seen, actually. It's really great.
You could really go along with him. It's like when you're playing a video game and you feel like you can sort of self-insert, and it's kind of a little bit like that.
Or even character identification. You don't have to self-insert. You don't have to see yourself.
Well, that's
on
what
screen.
I mean. No, not like I see.
I'm not pushing back. I agree with you.
I'm not saying that I see myself reflected in how he looks or anything. I just mean, like, as y'all are saying, a realistic depiction of humanity.
How would
And,
you respond, kind of thing?
Yeah.
But this is crazy. Oh, and also in this scene, we get world-class stuntman Al Leong. I don't know if you're going to get a slide of him, but Al Leong is in this, who also was in Big Trouble in Little China and Die Hard. Incredible. I was so happy to Where's Waldo him while watching.
Mm-hmm. And Kronos keeps saying in the chat that Keith David was in Rick and Morty. And so I finally looked it up. Yes, Keith David is the president in Rick and Morty.
Well, I'm sure he got paid.
He did. He was pretty good. He has a Stargate.
I don't like Rick and Morty.
I know you don't.
I don't like Rick and
But
Morty.
he has a Stargate.
Well, good. Good for him.
Jay Goodwin says Carpenter reuses a lot of actors. Buck Flowers is in this as well as Escape from New York.
Hey, Kat, where else is Buck Flower from?
This is so happy I did that.
Where else is Buck Flowers from?
Yes.
The name does sound familiar.
He was the homeless guy in Back to the Future.
Oh, Red.
Yeah.
Okay.
Al Leong is legendary.
Good
He was
talk.
also in Bill and Ted as Genghis Khan when he had a more significant role than a henchman where he gets killed all the time. Yeah, Kat, do you have anything else you wanted to add since this movie?
This is a really good movie, man.
It is. It is a really good movie.
Let's see. He's got me looking up this Buck Flowers person because I don't know where else I've seen him in. I don't forget it. I'll look it up some other time.
But there he is.
I gotta
This
say,
is one of the.
Yeah.
I gotta say, Buck Flowers is one of the greatest names I've ever heard.
It's Gilbert.
It's great though. Can you imagine? I can't imagine going through life as Mr. Flowers. I just can't somehow. That's me.
Yeah, but what if people called you Buck?
Oh, I wouldn't mind that.
Okay. But there he is. And this is one of those situations. He played it like a stereotypical hobo drifter kind of thing. And I don't recall seeing him dressed up in a, tux and tails.
He's got a nice beard too, I gotta say. Pretty cool beard.
Certainly has a bit more of a prominent role here than a lot of the other things he's been in.
Well, and he's not a stereotypical homeless man. He actually gets to act.
The beard. Oh, there's so much good stuff.
Do you have your authorization cards? Right here.
Is that when they shoot him?
Yeah, that's where they shoot him. And Gilbert, he says, it's business. That's all it is. You still don't get it. There ain't no countries anymore. They're running the whole show. They own the whole planet. They can do whatever they want. We can have it good for a change. If we help them, they'll leave us alone to make some money. You can have a taste of the good life. It's what everybody wants. You do it to your own kind, and that's frank. What's the threat? We all sell out every day. Might as well be the winning team. Oh, I actually have that.
We all sell out every day. Might as well be on the winning team.
It's so just bone chilling and current.
And it is current. I think what makes it the most menacing is the fact that the aliens aren't like trying to they're just sapping up the resources but making us happy right along as they do it. So this is that perfect mix of 1984 and A Brave New World where the people give up their identity willingly.
Mm-hmm. And why not?
Yeah, because they can have it easy. They can have their entertainment and they can have their luxuries. And the aliens aren't starving them. necessarily.
The
Well, some of
hypocrisy.
them.
The
Starving some of them. But not all.
But the hypocrisy of the character, and he's only listed, Buckflower is only listed as Drifter in the film, in the end credits. But it, like, for him to say, like, he's obviously been plucked out of his detrimental situation to assist with the control of the colony of Earth. And
Well,
he's like, well, what's the difference? What's the difference?
He's been coerced totally by the aliens by offering him tons of money and, you know, prestige or whatever the hell else they're giving him, right? So he's totally sold out. I mean,
Yeah, and
the
that's
sold
how
out speech. That's one of
he
my
sold
favorite.
out humanity. Yeah.
Yeah, that's one of my favorite parts of the entire movie. His sold out speech is absolutely on target. It's like, it's frighteningly true, sadly, for a lot of folks, right? It's just like,
See you,
yeah,
Tony.
sell out.
Tony says, "Love you guys. Got to get to work."
Oh,
Later.
see you.
Later,
See you, Tony.
Tony. Thank you so much for stopping by. See you later.
Cheers. Just a reminder, I'm Team Cap.
Oh,
Moving on.
Chronos says to you, "Go save the universe." Pretty sure that was
Like, it is, but it is something where, you know, the advantages of what you can get, where you can go if you choose a side that is best for you as opposed to what is best for everyone. And that is where our boy Drifter here is going. He will sacrifice the human race just so he has comfort.
Well, you know, I had.
It reminds me. No, but it reminds me of a quote from Quark. You take away these humans, they're replicators, they're sonic showers, and they'll become just as vicious as a Klingon.
Well,
so
if you have to live like an animal, you maybe start to think like one.
Yeah, the Siege episode. I remember that.
AR 4476
6792 598
8575409.
I've heard that song.
I messed it up. I messed up the title.
So
we got the meaning.
Claude Paris says, Jill, I sent you a short clip of Roddy on politically correct shading Bill Maher, but where did you send that? Where did you send that?
That's cool. I'd love to see that.
I don't see it on Twitter. Where did you send it?
Might be in the Discord.
I just wanted to.
Well, I don't know if Claude's a member.
I just wanted to quickly comment though, like
No,
his whole sellout speech. Like, if you were like a homeless person living
Nobody's
in the
on
dirt,
there yet.
basically.
Oh, there it is. It's on public. Okay, here it is. Sorry, guys.
Got it? Let's go.
Yeah, so I don't know if I'm allowed.
That's what he was saying.
Oh, is it going to play on the TV?
Yeah, it is. PvP, what were you talking about?
Yeah, I just wanted to quickly add that the whole sellout speech, when he's making it, is creepy, but I can totally kind of understand where he's coming from, because if you were down and out and basically living in a homeless camp, and if somebody came along and waved a big chunk of money under your nose and said, "Hey, come work for us, and you can have all this money, and we'll get you a nice house and get you all the things you've always dreamed about," it's like, I had to actually ask myself watching that scene, would I turn that down? It's like, I don't know. I actually might go for it, because let's face it, money and physical comfort go a long way in life.
And that's what I meant earlier when I said that Gilbert has a defeatist mentality in terms of, oh, well, if you can't beat him, might as well join him.
Well, and before we play the clip, and just in response to that, because watching this, I was thinking about all the people that I know who would sell out to the alien overlords. And I was like, would I sell out to the alien overlords? My first response was probably. But when I thought about it more, if the alien overlords were to present me with an ideal position, and then I would have to choose for my own personal comfort over loved ones. And when I say loved ones, I mean friends, not just family. I mean, like, would I sell out my friends so that I can, huff champagne and wear nice clothes? I would be a schemer. I would be a guy who tried to undermine the system. I am a guy who tries to undermine the system as it stands now, even as mildly as I do it. Like, I don't want to be a part of a club that would have me as a member. And so, no, I would die. I would be one of the first casualties in this situation. Because I'm not that good a criminal.
You know, though, Scotty, it's never made explicit whether his friends and family are harmed in any way. They might have been taken up in the whole scheme, and maybe they're all living the high life now too, right? It's possible.
But that's what happens with
the rebels. The rebels are killed. The rebels are killed.
Like, we got Gilbert who dies. We got Frank and Nada who are going to die, and those are the people that Buck Flowers sold out. And it's like, am I willing to live with that? Am I just willing to watch the loyal fall to the wayside while I get hot tubs and champagne?
Yeah, that's true. Well, some people would, though.
And I don't think I would.
I don't know if I can.
I just,
okay, guys.
I
don't know. I gotta pick it up because I'm gonna run out of time. Yep. I've got 20 to 30 minutes left, and I'm a little bit nervous about playing this clip because it's from HBO or ABC.
It says ABC in the picture.
I thought it was CBS. ABC? Well, that's Disney.
It says ABC on.
So I don't know who owns this or how much I can play. So
maybe don't play it on if it's a concern that they might flag it, since this isn't necessarily related to the movie.
Oh, is it not?
Yeah,
it's got Roddy Piper though.
You don't want to get this,
and they are in on the joke. That's not an insult.
So you're trying to say?
Let's go to what Roddy says.
I do too, but they're dying.
Then you're telling me that you're really hitting each other?
Handsome devil.
Is real, okay? We are entertainment, but when a metal chair cracks your back, that's not fake. Somebody throws you from.
I've never seen Sting without makeup. That's crazy cool.
You know what? There's never a bruise on.
Hang on, let's see what Roddy says. This is cool.
You got a minute? Look at this. No.
Oh no!
Oh my goodness! Oh jeez.
There we are.
A bruise. Yeah.
There's a wound.
And right in Mars' face.
He probably did that the day before.
He's basically putting his butt in his face almost. That is hilarious. Love it.
See that wrist? 7 years it's been broken. Owen Hart, dead. Why don't you go tell Mrs. Hart what a joke it is, huh? Oh, it's ways, right?
Holy shit.
Want me to be truthful?
Shit.
With you? Huh, champ? You know what?
Boy, he shut Mar up pretty quick there, didn't he?
Well, that's dropping an ace. That is dropping an ace.
Yeah, tell Owen Hart's wife. Yeah, how fake it is. Yeah. Damn, that was awesome.
So I do want to give, like, come on. There's a guy who spoke it as it was, and say what you will about his character. I don't think he committed any crimes, or at least none that stuck. Come on. Like, I don't know. I appreciate that honesty and
honesty. Honesty.
Like, he was a guy who sort of lived his life. He did what was in service to the entertainment, and I'm glad he did. But I don't think that he ever compromised his values.
I always thought he was an honest, decent man, personally, from everything.
Well, decent's a bit much. Come on.
Oh, good man. I think he did his best. And you know, when he's on a show with a guy like Bill Maher, which I find, you know, I've seen Bill Maher, you know, a lot of times, and sometimes he has a point, and sometimes he sounds like a tool. And in this one, he sounded like a tool, because the whole wrestling is fake thing is like, that's such an old trope in itself. It's like, well, it's not really that fake, because a lot of wrestlers get hurt pretty bad sometimes if something goes wrong, right? And,
man, wait.
Well, like
yeah, I don't know. I don't know if this is I don't know if this is a direct quote that Claude Parrish brings out, but Mars says, "Well, I didn't drop my pants in front of other men." And Piper says, "Then how do you get the job?" And so that is absolutely like when it. Oh, I
works
had
for
so many
women.
things
This
to
works
say
for
about
women.
wrestling versus acting and the entertainment industry as a whole, but I don't think that we have enough time to get into
No, we're
it.
running out of time. Jill
Oh,
told
we
us.
don't. We need about 3 more hours sometimes.
Oh God.
Yeah,
So Darius
totally.
says Canadians are mean, man. Yeah, sometimes they can be. It's true.
Yeah.
John Doe says hi. Hello.
Hey,
Hello,
John
John
Doe.
Doe.
I'll
Everybody's
meet you in the
mowing
morgue.
down Alien right now. We're about done with the movie.
And I do appreciate,
scene.
I do
like that
appreciate Princess Fiona saying, yes, that is a direct quote. Thank you so
I
much.
like that the guys in the stairwell are wearing camo for like Alpine territory. It's in this office building.
Oh, but that's urban. Isn't that urban camouflage? Like white and black?
White, gray, and black, like like you're as if they're out on the snow or something.
No, but that's urban based on bricks.
Carpenter probably got the uniforms like for free, borrowing them from somebody. So that's probably why they're dressed that way.
So Meg Foster's character Holly killed Frank.
Yeah,
just
when she kills
recently.
Frank, that really pissed me off.
I yelled when that happened.
Sucked.
I was so
Yeah, I
upset.
hate that scene.
Well, and that's when you find a collaborator.
Well, I guess I couldn't sell out then to answer your question earlier, Scotty, because that pissed me off. It's like he was a good man. He didn't deserve to die like that.
But this is also sort of the end of a big ups to Eric's. But this is also
nice.
like this is a huge sort of self-sacrifice from Nada. And it's like fuck
yeah. Ultimate sacrifice.
It is. It's the same thing as in The Thing, where it's like, you know what, we're gonna die, but we're gonna make the rest of the world better. Which is with these two films.
Yeah.
Well, but then the truth is revealed based on Nada's sacrifice.
I hope so.
Well, that's what is presented in the waning moments of the film.
I know with everything explodes at the end and the beam gets turned off, of course, but I still do wonder, these aliens seem so pervasive everywhere that I have to wonder if that actually does wake everybody up or not, you know.
It does. They show it. And then the revolution comes.
Oh yeah, Nada dies, but the blow against the Empire has been.
I love that shot. He raises the finger.
Yeah.
The last little act.
Well, I
of
love the whole
defiance.
rest of the movie. It is so funny.
Yes.
Because everybody, now that the cloak is down, everybody can see the aliens.
Yeah. Okay, yeah, I guess it pretty much does have a happy ending in a sense.
In a way, yeah. Even though our hero dies, he dies a hero. He achieved the goal of the rebellion, the goal of stopping the signal.
It's a true hero's journey in the film, really.
Well, and also, and here we go. And thank you, John Carpenter, for just giving us tits in the last 5 seconds of the movie.
Yeah, the last couple of seconds of the movie. Yeah, that made me
But
laugh.
one of the things that I find in that final shot is that you may think it's bigger than you. You may think that it is societal or the mainstream media or the propagandists are going against you. But it is a possibility that you may be actually living with the people who want to oppress you. The societal question does. All right, well, have an honest conversation with your partner and find out where they stand. Now, I'm not saying that you should choose whether or not to be of one ilk or another, but at the end of it, there is a topless woman. Thank you, John Carpenter, for the tits. Riding a ghoul, an alien, and it's like, oh, come on, baby. What's going on? What's wrong? And it's like, well, I just found out you were, oppressing. You're a bad person. And there is something about how it does come close to home. No pun intended.
That out in that specific instance.
Well, that's my interpretation of it. I don't
think it's
know.
more
Maybe
like
I'm wrong.
She just realizes she's riding a skull-faced dude,
Yeah.
and that's probably a bit of a turn off. I think I'd be a bit turned off if it was like a female.
Well,
What if that's his wife? But what if that's his wife?
Right.
What if that's
right,
her
because
husband?
that's one of the messages that the aliens send them is marry and reproduce.
Well, I guess it depends if you value physical looks. Like, if she's
But that
okay
was the
with
whole
it.
point
Now,
of
did they
the
ever say
beam.
how
maybe,
the aliens
or maybe
are
there's a divorce. I don't know.
Did they ever say how the aliens are profiting off of this?
Well,
Not
it's a colonial. Well, no, not specifically. I
Okay,
can
yeah.
extrapolate, but they don't express themselves.
They say essentially that they're using the Earth as if it's a third world nation, and so they're
Which makes
using up the
sense.
resources in that way, like how some water companies will steal the water from a third world country, and then the people there are all poor and they don't have water and it's all messed up. So that's what the aliens are doing.
I think they basically co-opted the ruling elite, the government. I mean, that speech about there's no governments anymore.
Like
it's all the
like
same.
aliens wouldn't need water, but I'm sure they're using some other resources that they actually do need. But
Basically,
yeah,
though, they've taken over the
Kat,
ruling elite.
saw
I
that.
think
I didn't notice you were showing
that was cool.
Yeah.
Oh,
Show us the thing.
Oh, show it again.
yeah,
Show it again.
cool.
Ooh.
Is that the Blu-ray count?
Blu-ray and 4K.
Nice.
Do you have the audio commentary?
Probably. I haven't actually gotten into the special features yet, but you got the.
Oh man, it is a tight hour and a half, and you are going to have a blast if you had the opportunity on physical
I
media to
love John
listen.
Carpenter's commentaries. They are fantastic.
Yeah, man, it's so good. I recommend.
Oh, nice.
So, Kat, you're a fan of physical media?
You know that, Scott.
I know. I was expressing it for the rest of the audience.
John Doe says,
physical
when I was a
media is
kid, I wanted to see They Live, the TV series, after they blow up the beam machine.
Oh, that might have been
Well,
cool.
I forget who said it. I did star it, but it is 106 starred comments. So, but someone I think it may have been Classic Comments. Yes, it was Classic Comics. Said in the chat, said that there is a remake of They Live in like the pipeline. It's been suggested. Now,
Not real, because I accidentally found one and I thought it was real, but it was a parody article.
But I think that if you had the right production and the right director, I think that They Live is ripe for a remake.
The comic says there's a
as
streaming show in the works.
Well, I don't want a streaming show. I like my stories to end. Fuck The Walking Dead.
Well, that's the thing that bothers me with TV these days is that you can't have a beginning, middle, and end in an episode anymore. Nothing is episodic.
Yeah, I know.
Anymore. I miss episodic television, basically.
And I think it would be interesting to remake They Live. And when you talk about movies that they wouldn't make nowadays, this is, in my mind, sort of in that category.
Wait, is this true? Wait. Darius says it was still 1987, so nobody under 30 shagged people they knew personally.
I doubt it.
Well, don't forget.
I think that's a joke, actually, Joe.
Oh, I'm sure it's a joke, but I'm just
1980s was the age of AIDS.
Yeah.
So
yeah, I remember
you were very careful.
I remember at art college that when the first semester they handed out.
PD, did you have sex in the 80s?
That's a rather personal question.
Yeah,
it is.
Oh yeah, and I'm not going to answer it because it's a very personal question. I don't.
So I'll take that as a no.
I don't kiss and tell.
I didn't. I was 12.
If you want to do something like They Live, make it your own and make sure that you don't have to use their name. Everybody writes dystopian.
There've kind of been a million and one They Live movies.
Yeah.
I
Well,
would
somebody
want
was mentioning one of them in the chat earlier, which I really love, which was Idiocracy, which is a great follow-up.
Mm-hmm.
I would want
Well,
them to remake the film. Every remake I've ever seen is pretty much garbage compared to the originals.
Well, and in terms of adaptations and whatnot, like, and this is something that I've heard generally in terms of 10 years later, and then you adapt something to television and it turns into shit. And this is why I didn't want to watch Fargo, which Kat and I are reviewing on the Phantasmagorium, because I thought it was going to be just modern pap. And I thought it was going to be shit. And watching it, there is a love for the source material with an understanding of the tone of the original. It's developed for television by Noah Hawley, who was going to be working with Star Trek IV in the Kelvin verse. But there is something I'm all over the place. Hang on, well, but this is the thing, is that Fargo is one of those adaptations of a classic property that actually does the original justice.
So that's one exception.
Well, it's an example. It's not the exception. There are others.
I haven't seen many remakes that were any
Well,
good.
if your lack of experience is evidence, then
Don't tell me I got a lack of experience, please, Scotty.
But I'm just saying in terms of adaptations. I'm not saying in general, sir. I'm just saying you cannot speak towards something that you haven't experienced yourself.
No, I'm speaking to things I have experienced, and I was very much disappointed.
I think this is a good time to read this chat from FKHC, Anti-Derivative Jill. This episode today has tits and asses.
True story.
What exactly?
So am I a tit or an ass? I just want to clarify.
I have no idea.
Which one do you want to be?
I could be both at times, actually.
I want to be a tit. I want to be a tit. I don't want to be an ass.
Dang lizard aliens, says Kronos, which is the current.
Do you think they look like lizards? Hey, Kronos.
No, it's a reference to the conspiracy.
That's like a V reference, isn't it?
The rich elite today are lizards or something. I don't know it very well.
I don't get it.
I don't either, but it's a thing. Lizard people are a thing that people think about.
They're making the frogs gay.
Well, actually, frogs can be bi. I've read somewhere, some species.
I saw Jurassic Park.
They can change. They can actually change their gender if necessary to breed, which is quite a bizarre thought.
Life.
Proto says it was a reference to V.
Yes, exactly.
To the lizard people in V. Darius Munchausen says, I like that Carpenter pokes fun at himself and Romero at the very end when the bar patron calls the films indulgent and disgusting. Cut immediately to read.
There's the TV commentator saying that it's disgusting, and then they cut to the blonde. Yeah, that was pretty funny, actually.
Well, and famously, Roger Ebert said that The Thing was abhorrent. He thought that it was exploitive shit. And so, yeah, there was a little bit of a battle between Carpenter and critics of the time, specifically Roger Ebert. And but Carpenter's films hold up. I think that across the board, as Princess Fiona was saying earlier, he is excellent at casting. And I think that he does create engaging stories and tension and levity. Like, he does tell a good story. John Carpenter is one of the best directors that in the last 30 years, 40 years.
Yeah, he's up there with Roger Corman for me as an independent, Scotty.
Well, he's better than Roger
Corman. I love this
Roger
movie.
Corman's
I love
pretty
it
good too,
when
though.
science fiction
No.
I love when science fiction is used
You
in
haven't
this way
seen
with
some of
the
his films,
aliens and everything. And I love how this movie uses our subconscious our ideas that we are being manipulated and taken advantage of by some kind of power that wants to divide us for whatever reason.
Yeah.
And so we are manipulated and programmed in terms of some of that media, like Kat was talking about the 24-hour news cycle and everything.
No, things are
So,
programmed from birth. I mean, even
and
our parents program us, with good intentions, of course, Jill, but
well,
you
that's
know,
good
we
indoctrination.
we are socialized from an early age, and then society takes over, and that's when the bad shit starts to happen, right?
Well, it's like when kids are brainwashed by being forcibly indoctrinated into religions when they're toddlers.
Oh yeah, I hate that.
The same kind
Well,
of
like when
it's not religion is not always a bad thing in terms of.
It's like when I hang
But it
out with
does
people
teach
and
you
they
not
tell me that the Lord of the Rings is good.
That's
Well, it
not.
might be a little different, but
That's indoctrination, and quite frankly, I will not stand.
I just think it's.
Scotty,
I agree with Kat, though. It's
you
like
like hobbits.
it's
I
fine.
don't.
It's fine to find religion, maybe if you're a teenager and you have some maturity behind you. But I agree with Kat. Like, there's no way like 3 or 4-year-olds should be indoctrinated into a way of thinking
Well,
for the
some
rest of
people
their
don't
life.
call it indoctrination. It's just their family, and it's just where they go to church.
Right, but the thing is
That's
that
fine.
those institutions don't want you to think or ask questions.
Oh
It is-
yeah, that is a problem. I agree with you there that it's a
That's
problem.
why it didn't work. I
That's
remember Mom tried
not
to
good.
take me to one, like these little groups when they were younger, to kind of get us used, because she took us to church a couple times, and the pastor was just awful, and the acoustics were designed so that you could have like a booming voice. It was like a huge church, right? The guy was awful. He was like on his deathbed practically, mumbling, and I kept reading these passages because I had an advanced reading level at a young age, and so all the adults are always saying, well, don't believe everything you read. I'm like, okay. So I'd be reading these things, and then she's like, well, maybe I should take you to like a smaller youth group type thing beforehand. And we go there, and they didn't like that I was inquisitive. It's like, well, you're supposed to ask questions about the things that you read.
Exactly. That's true.
You don't want people asking questions. You just want them to drink the Kool-Aid. Then that's not,
Right. That's not going to be an engaging or
yeah.
kind of experience. I get it.
Yeah, I never had any interest in drinking the Kool-Aid personally.
Yeah.
Well, the Kool-Aid in particular, that could be deadly.
But also, you have to understand the people who did and try and build a bridge.
Well, some of the people
For
that
sure.
drink the
And there's
Kool-Aid aren't
nothing
with us
wrong with
anymore.
just learning, listening and learning, but at the same time, if you have a question, it shouldn't be met with hostility when you ask it.
Yeah.
Well, it's like
agreed.
I'm not against religion. I'm just against anything that's forced down people's throats when they, don't have a choice, to make. That's what bothers me. It's like if you choose to be religious, that's great, but you shouldn't be forced into it.
Hello, Donnie from the chat. Hey, how are you doing, Don Power Ranger?
Yeah, more phenomenal.
And
Come
so
on, yo.
I got 5 minutes left. So you guys have any closing words for this movie? So we can head out and enjoy our Friday.
May I go first?
Yes.
Watching this today, my favorite John Carpenter movie is Escape from New York.
Me too.
Me too. And I would say this is probably my second favorite, and it depends on the day, but it probably takes the place of my favorite. I enjoy A Man Alone. It is interesting that John Carpenter was a big fan of Westerns. The man with no name walking into town and dispensing justice like it was his job. And I really enjoy that. And if there is a sort of black and white photo negative of the two, Snake Plissken is the guy who shows up and doesn't give a fuck. And Nada is the guy who shows up and says, holy crap, I just figured this out. It's amazing. I really enjoy these two movies. And then if you want to go Big Trouble in Little China, that's the guy who bumbles into a situation and doesn't know what's going on. And I could go on and on with John Carpenter movies, but I really enjoy this John Carpenter movie. I really think that it is as relevant today as it was when it was released. And there are many interpretations. I'm going to give this what are we rating?
Are we
this
grading? I don't usually rate on Fridays, but you're allowed
No,
to.
I know,
if you
but I
like
wanna. But how many?
I want
What
to,
am I?
but like 500 out of 10 is for
I'm going to
my
give it a
rating at the
500 out
moment.
of 10. Yes, this is a 500 out of 10. So thank you just for
You're welcome.
revisiting and engaging to watch the audio commentary, hear about these incredible performers, these incredible artists that made this. Like I am just so happy that this is a yearbook that never goes out of style. It's amazing. So
yeah,
yeah.
I agree completely, and I do like these dystopians a lot better when they're not actually current reality, but at least knowing the truth, we can extrapolate some meaning to today from then, because things aren't a lot different from the way that this movie portrays everything. It is more relevant today even than when John Carpenter first made it.
Yeah, for sure.
I agree totally. Yeah.
What do you give it, Kat?
I don't know. I have to watch it again. It's been a long time since I've seen it.
Do you want to give it a 7? Give it a 7.
I'd probably give it higher. I'm not rating something that I haven't seen in many years.
Is it better than God?
Yeah.
I'm sorry. I shouldn't have
Oh,
done
you're
that.
not allowed to make that joke.
I think I'm allowed one. I did one. I'm sorry. I won't
You
never
did
do it
one.
again.
You did. Okay. It's
Darius
up to
said-
Kat. It's not up to me.
Okay, so I meant to read this earlier. Darius has a series of chats saying that it was a joke. Okay, where was it? Where did it start?
Up there.
That's good.
I want to
good
be
comment.
where the people are.
Oh, it never occurred to me that the naked blonde in the final scene
Oh,
might actually be in a relationship with the alien monster she's writing. I always assumed it was an anonymous or random hookup. Yeah,
No,
me
they could be
too.
married, yo. I don't
Could be
know.
married, marry and reproduce. Maybe the aliens are capable of reproduction with the humans, and are like maybe their race is dying, and they're using humanity as
But would their children
way to
have
make
skull
babies.
faces, Jill?
Yes, they would.
Only if you wore the sunglasses
That would be scary.
or the contact lenses.
I don't think I could make love to someone with a skull face personally, but that's just me.
Yeah.
You've never been that lonely, have you? I fucked a skull face.
But you left your sunglasses off though.
Oh no, I wore the sunglasses. That made it sexier.
Oh Jesus, Scotty. That's classic Scotty right there.
It
Anyway, is
Well,
Kat
I'm looking
giving
for
a review or
oh
what's
no,
happening here? I'm losing track of reality.
you don't have to. We can relax.
How
for
did
a
you
minute.
like it? How did you like the movie PvP?
I loved it. I thought it was one of the greatest films I've ever seen, actually, which kind of surprised me
let's not
because
get
I like
crazy.
John Carpenter and I was expecting a very good film, but I wasn't expecting a total classic necessarily, because I always go into a film
go?
open-minded, right? You know, and it's like, well, okay, I'm watching your film now. Convince me that it's worth watching and it's really, really great. And I gotta say, John Carpenter did get the job done, because
Nice.
I was totally mesmerized. You know, the thing is Roddy Piper's performance. Like, I was hooked in the first couple of minutes because he was just so damn good in the role as Nada, and I was just totally engulfed in this character right from the start, and the whole way the scenario, developed in the first 30 minutes or so
Ah,
with all the homeless
mhm.
folks and stuff. I just thought this is such great world building happening here. And then of course
Great.
when the police state shit came in with the riot squad, demolishing all those poor homeless people's homes
Sure.
and all that crap. And it just built and built from there, right? And then when you get the sunglasses and it's like the horror sci-fi kicks in, and it was just like one of the greatest films. I agree with you, Scotty. My favorite Carpenter film is Escape from New York, and this is probably number 2 now. It's right up
Nice.
there. It really
Well,
is. It's
now I
right up
need to
there,
see
man.
Escape from New York.
Oh,
So
you never.
I
Oh my
want.
God,
I
Jill.
want
We
to
will.
Well, we'll
Calm
do it.
down,
We'll do it.
PvP.
No, I just love
Okay,
that
so there
film
was
so
a
much.
series of chats from Darius. I finally found them. It was mostly a joke, Jill. By
Wow.
1987, HIV was a worrying concern to the public, but if that public still thought it was a gay disease, they wouldn't yet take precaution.
True.
And the HIV
That's
epidemic
true.
directly caused the return to monogamy and safe sex in the 90s. See Austin Powers 1997.
That's an interesting point, Darius. And yes,
And Austin says only sailors use condoms, baby. Vanessa says not in the 90s, Austin. Well, they should, those filthy beggars. They go from port to port.
but again,
I've never heard port to port. I've never heard it described that way, port to port. That's pretty funny.
You do have to take into account the sexual proclivities as presented by modern entertainment from the time that they are represented, and so it is interesting. Like from music to social mores, they are all presented through film from the eras in which they are presented. And nowadays, it's like, oh, they've got an agenda. They've always had an agenda, you childish monkey.
Yeah, there's always been a message or whatever, but it's been different. It used to be that one artist could give their one vision and we could see a movie and interpret it from whatever perspective we would like to interpret it as. But the difference in today is, whereas before we got one vision from one artist, now we get
we
get the whole corporation. Now we get the corporate boardroom with the psychologist saying this is what we want everybody to see. And
when
so
you say
then
that, you
things are
forget
much
the
more
Hays Code. You forget about things that were going on in the studio system of the 1940s, 50s. Like it has always been there.
Well, the
audience,
studio has always wanted to have an influence, but at the same time, it used to be more like, can you make us money with this thing? Okay, then you can do that thing.
I disagree. They were attempting to make society malleable, media, and this movie is very, very explicit in terms of the people who are presenting you with the media. They are the ones who are trying to make it so that you marry and reproduce. These are the ones, no imagination. These are the ones who are saying obey. And this has been happening since the 50s, the 40s, the 30s.
I gotta go, guys. I gotta go.
Let's go.
But before I go, PvP.
PvP.
God, I said we have to go, and I'm sorry, PvP, but I did
he
say we have
leave?
to go. No, he didn't leave. I had to mute him because I just wanted to say, King Dolphin, I wanted to leave a like and mention tomorrow's celebration. He's going to have his birthday stream.
I can't wait to be there.
He's going to celebrate 300 subscribers, and it's going to be amazing. Everybody be there for that, and I hope everybody had a lot of fun talking about this movie. I'm sorry, PvP, that I didn't let you finish what you had to say because I really do have to go. I have to run. I thought I had 5 minutes left, but my alarm didn't go off, and so I'm gonna have to dash out of here. So
you're 11 minutes late.
I'm 4 minutes almost gonna be late. Like I have 4 minutes to get ready. But I had so much fun talking to you guys today, and I hope that you come back on Tuesday where we're going to talk about TOS, Star Trek, the original series, and we're going to talk about the Paradise Syndrome, and it's going to be great. And
can't wait.
So PvP, can you tell us what you have coming up and final words, but please make it quick.
Am I on?
So you're not making it quick. Go quick.
No, I just wanted to. I've actually forgotten what I was going to say, so it doesn't matter. So yeah.
Okay. Did you have anything you want to share?
Not really. Not really. If you need to go, that's fine.
I do. I should have cut it off 5 minutes ago, but y'all's conversation was so immersive,
Well, I had an
and really
interesting
great,
comment,
and I
but
really
that was
No, but we got to go. We got to go.
but that
No,
was
I
3
know.
minutes ago, and I've totally forgotten it now, so it
Oh
doesn't
my
matter.
God. Yes, well, it does matter because I do care what you have to say, but the problem was that I have to go. And so I did have to cut off a great conversation that you had. So do you have anything you want to share, Kat, before we go?
Nope.
Nope.
Oh, come on. Do the Star Wars thing.
Yeah,
Jill,
you're on Robert Meyer Burnett's
You said you
channel
had to go, and now
sometimes.
you're hanging on.
Oh my God, PvP.
No, we're
This is called
promoting.
the end of the stream, where I like to let everybody share what they have to share at the end of it.
I don't know. If Kat doesn't want to do the Star Wars thing that she does, I don't care.
Yeah, the Cantina, whoever, Cantina.
You can watch Scott and I review the
Mugler.
Fargo TV show on Thursday nights at 7
Yeah, and the
Pacific on the
Phantasmagorium
Phantasmagorium show.
You stole my thing.
Well, I had nothing else to promote right now. 'Cause,
All right.
The Cantina is not doing anything this month. Wait, who? I don't know.
I
remember
don't
what
keep
the
up
name
with all
of
their
that
shows,
channel was.
but second and fourth Sunday of the month on the Virtual Cantina Network YouTube channel is
There
where
it
my
is.
show's at.
Thank you. And Scotty, did you have anything else to share?
Oh, I have so many things to share. So, yeah, what Kat said in terms of talking about Fargo, if you guys are interested in the original film and the television show, we are going through season 1 of Fargo, and in anticipation, because I don't know if you know, but John Hamm is going to be in season 5 of Fargo, so I'm super squee. And yeah, so we're doing that. And then also I show up on Tuesdays on Anti-Derivative Jill's channel. And this coming Tuesday, we're going to be talking about the Paradise Syndrome from the original series of Star Trek. And other people are going to say that they are Kirok.
I'm not ready yet. I am Kirok.
I'm not going to do it. I'm not
going to do it either. I have to practice. It'll be better on Tuesday, guys. And,
all right,
and I'll
let's go.
see you guys later.
Yeah.
I love you guys. I'll see you next time.
Bye,
This
great
was so
Friday.
fun.
Yeah,
I got to go get
bye.
some bubble gum.
Right.
I have come here to chew bubblegum and kick ass. And I'm all out of bubblegum.
Oh.
Brother, life's a bitch. She's back in heat. Fuck it.
Kirk to Enterprise.
Once the asteroid has been diverted,
That may be hours from now.
in that case, everyone on this planet will die, including the captain.
Lock all phases on that mark.
You lost for us, you lost for that planet, you lost for Jim.
We are your people. We've been waiting for you to come to us.
I say he must prove he is a god.
Many things are strange to me.
Marilani, come here.
I bear your child.
I cannot permit this joining.
You are a god.
There's the false one.
All right, move along. Done. Stop it.
Get off of the things. Go outside. Get some food. It's like, it's a time of day where you live. Go do something. Shut up, Snoopy. I don't care. You smoke too much. Let's go. Let's go adventure. Let's go explore.